Chapter 1. Liu. Outside the tea room. Zhongli listened to the storyteller as usual. But I heard someone beside me asking, have you ever heard of an Ajima goddess? Ever since someone smuggled into Liu from Daozhu a few days ago, the word Shenzu can often be heard. According to Zhongli's understanding, in an Ajima Narukami Grand Shrine, the person with a higher position than the Shrine Maiden is the Shrine Lord. It's just that the position of the God Lord has always been vacant, and there has never even been a position set up externally. Why did the God Lord suddenly appear? He asked curiously, can you explain something to me? Storyteller Tian Taishui grabbed the words. When it comes to that God Lord, I know him best. Hey, on the day he appeared, the sun and moon were upside down, the sea water evaporated, and the entire rice wife crawled at his feet. Even the arrogant fox demon and the great witch surrendered to him. Before he could finish speaking, the person listening to the book interrupted and said, yes, you are exaggerating more and more. Tian Taishui said dissatisfied, my lord, I didn't fool you. This god of rice wife is mysterious to begin with. No one knows where he came from, let alone why he stayed in rice wife. It is said that someone once Mrs. Ina offended him, and in an instant, Narukami Island turned into an ice field. Real or fake? The guest who was listening to the book had a look of doubt on his face. Even our king of rocks wouldn't dare to say that Narukami Island would be frozen in an instant, right? Tian Taishui also agreed, although he is strong, he cannot compare with me, Prince Yan. Zhongli was stunned for a while when he heard it. You know your own strength. If this person really has such strength, I'm afraid. The guest who was listening to the book asked again, you say he is so powerful, has anyone seen him? Tian Taishui shook his head, I don't know about that. The words just fell. They heard the people passing by discussing, yes, it's the god of rice wife, who evaporated the entire sea with a wave of his hand. Several people all looked at each other. The guest listening to the book was even more suspicious, Tian Taishui, are you not making nonsense? Tian Taishui assured, of course not, how could I talk nonsense about this? Zhongli frowned slightly, where does this god lord come from? Rice wife. Narukami Taisha Shrine. Lin Hao stood under the sacred cherry tree, looking across the mountains of Daozhu and landing on the city of Daozhu. There were subtle footsteps behind him. Ye Shenzi came closer and said, Master God, why do you like to stand under the cherry blossoms and look at an Ajima castle? Is there anything over there that attracts you? Lin Hao shook his head slightly, I just miss him a little. Miss you? Ye Shenzi became even more curious. 3 months ago, he came to Anajima and landed under the sacred cherry tree. After a brief encounter between the two, she volunteered to let Lin Hao serve as the shrine master of Narukami Taisha. And she was very curious about everything about Lin Hao. For example, why can you use elemental power even though you don't have the eye of God? For example, why did he stop under this sacred cherry tree for a whole day? What exactly is there? She wanted to know this man. Want to know his past. Want to unravel his mystery. Lin Hao put away his thoughts and said coldly, it's just some events from the past. Ye Shenzi leaned on the railing and said with interest, that's just right. Ye Hall needs some materials. Many people in other countries also want to know your origins. Lin Hao was ready to speak. The sky in Teyvat was filled with strange changes. A crack suddenly appeared in the entire sky, and a huge screen gradually emerged in the middle of the crack. Now, no matter where you are in Teyvat, you can clearly see this screen. Strength emerged in Lin Hao. About to launch an attack on the sky. A mechanical voice came into the minds of everyone in Teyvat. The past life exposure system is starting, drop. The system started successfully. Drop. Start establishing connection, suddenly. A small panel appeared in front of countless people. Then, Funina joined the group chat. Wendy joined the group chat. Zhongli joined the group chat. Yadi Shenzi joined the group chat. Lin Hao joined the group chat. Thunder Movie joined the group chat. Nazada joined the group chat. In an instant, countless people in Teyvat continent all entered the group chat. Funina, ahead. Exposing the system? Shouldn't my secret be exposed? Navile, do you have any hidden secrets? Funina, of course not. Zhongli, based on common sense, we have no secrets to expose. Wendy, oh, _is that so? Wu Dao, exposing the secret? This is what interests me the most. Yay Comico, it looks very interesting. It just makes me add another theme to Ye Hall's light novels. Funina, so, who are we going to expose, at this time? In the chat area, everyone was looking forward to it but also a little scared. Previous life. It is something that one longs to know and yet is afraid to know. If you want to know a person's past life. Ye Shenze looked at Lin Hao beside her, she wanted to know everything about him. It's not just her. Including Zhongli, including everyone else in the chat area, the first thing they thought of was this mysterious god lord. Drop. The system's voice sounded again. The person to be exposed this time is, as the sound sounded, everyone looked up at the screen in the sky. Some people expect it to be me, wanting to see what kind of unparalleled hero I was in my previous life. There are also people who are extremely scared, worried that their secrets will be exposed. And this system seems to be intended to whet everyone's appetite. He did not directly announce the name. Instead, a picture is played on the screen. The picture is of an endless desert wasteland, with a white-haired boy standing in the wasteland, looking into the distance. Where his eyes converged, he saw a blonde girl holding a spear. Their eyes intertwined. The fighting spirit bursts out. Terrifying power suddenly erupted from the young man's body. Just for a moment. The entire desert turned into an ice field. Liu. Zhongli stood up suddenly in the tea room, staring intently at the battle in the sky. This kind of battle scene is no less than the battle between demons and gods back then. No. It's simply more terrifying than the demon-god war. Just raise your hand and freeze the entire ice sheet? If he had been here, the war in Gailiwan might have ended in a matter of seconds. Then my friend will not die in the end. Who is he? Why would a person with such terrifying power suddenly come to Teyvat and hide in the rice wife, willing to be an ordinary god? Zhongli couldn't understand. Chapter 2. Fontaine. Funina, who was sitting in the room, saw a glimpse of the scene through the window. He ran out directly, holding his hands on the railing and watching the battle on the screen, feeling very excited. If he could help himself. Can it directly defeat the laws of heaven? Can you help yourself save Fontaine and rescue yourself from this 500-year stage? At the same time, everyone in the chat area was shocked. Gan Yu, this power, has surpassed that of an immortal, right? Dadalia, is this really achievable by human power? Even the queen can't do it. Wu Dao, this is too scary. Zhongli, at Wendy, drunkard, what do you think? Payman, needless to say, it must be much better than the singing one. Wendy, hey, I only sing, I can't understand. Zhongli, who is it? Who is he? Funina, does anyone know who he is? The scene on the screen finally freezes at the moment when the boy floats into the sky. His appearance also appeared in front of everyone in Teyvat. The system sound sounded again. The person exposed this time is Lin Hao. Lin Hao. Zhongli's heart was shocked. This name was too familiar to him. It was the god of rice wife. Ever since he appeared, there were rumors about him all over the 7 kingdoms. He originally thought that the rumors were all about 3 people becoming a tiger, adding fuel to the fire, and gradually becoming a myth. But he never expected that the power of this person in his previous life would be so terrifying. If not, all the rumors are true? Everyone else was also stunned. It turns out that this is the previous life of Lord Inajima. Tian Taishui said proudly, Masters, did you see it? We were not lying before. This Lord Rice wife is so powerful that he can reach the sky. It is no exaggeration to say that the strength he displayed is just the tip of the iceberg. If he were to fight with all his strength, even our Lord Yan might not be able to defeat him. Zhongli picked up the wine glass and wanted to take a sip. But because there were too many thoughts in his mind, he had to put down the wine glass again. He sighed with emotion, perhaps. Prince Yan can't even compete with him. Rice wife. Ye Shenze looked at Lin Hao beside him and chuckled, I asked you to tell me that you don't want to, now it's okay, the whole Teyvat will know about your previous life. Lin Hao's tone was as cold as ever, it doesn't matter, I don't care. Okay. Ye Shenze was helpless, I would like to know what makes you so withdrawn. The words just fell. The screen in the sky changes. Past life exposure begins. Exposed person's past life identity, Kevin World, collapse of the 3 worlds. World introduction, this is a world eroded by the mysterious disaster Honkai. Human beings infected by Honkai have turned into death warriors who have no thinking and only know how to destroy. They and the huge monsters born from Honkai beasts together pose a huge threat to the world. The only ones who can resist Honkai are the Valkyrie troops composed of some girls with Honkai antibodies. Related characters, Kiana Kislana, Raiden Mei, Brynyaze Isaac on the screen. Each relevant character has a detailed description, informing everyone in Teyvat of their experiences. Then, the picture begins. It's in a dark corridor. The picture continues to go deeper into the corridor as someone's line of sight continues. Finally came to the lonely throne. The moment this person saw the person on the throne, his mind was filled with thoughts. All the inner thoughts are revealed. 1500 years have passed, power has been handed over and changed in human hands, and fire and sword have baptized the earth over and over again. On this planet, history occurs and disappears as quickly as a snap of a finger. However, compared to the last time I saw him, the man in front of me had not changed at all. The same goes for his will. This man transcends time and does not enter reincarnation. Noticed his arrival. Kevin woke up from his reverie. Set your sights on your own disciples. He couldn't help but tremble. What kind of eyes were there? These eyes have witnessed miracles that no mortal can dream of, and have also endured the sorrow when all things perish. But all of this, all that these eyes have witnessed, have been hammered into two ruthless and indifferent pieces of ice by the extraordinary will. Ye Shenzi looked at Kevin on the screen. That ruthless and cold gaze was exactly the same as that of Lin Hao next to him. What kind of grief has it gone through and how many joys and sorrows have it been witnessed before it can be forged? She wanted to know. I want to know everything about God. At this time, people in the chat area also spoke one after another. Funina, these eyes are so cold and terrifying. Kamizato Ayaka, yes, I have met the Lord of God once, and his eyes are like this, indifferent to everything. Paimon, am I the only one who thinks this look is scary? He is definitely not a good person. Ying, that's right, who is such a good person in such a dark environment? Xiaogong, you can't say that. After all, this is a previous life, and the Lord God may have some difficulties. Wendy, okay, let's continue watching. Paimon, this look is even more terrifying than when we first met the singer. Wendy. Everyone was talking about it. And the screen exposure continues. Kevin's cold gaze fell on the believer. The voice asked in an indifferent and ruthless voice, how is the preparation of the plan going? As a believer, Grey Snake answered truthfully, it's going well. Today's world already has all the conditions needed to implement the plan. Even if the hairsker of reason can stop you for a moment, he cannot stop the pace of history. The research on jackals is almost complete and only needs one final verification. Kevin said calmly, let's start taking action. Yes. The Grey Snake raised his head slightly and looked at his lord carefully. Then he said, to celebrate your return, I have a gift to give. Only this legendary weapon can match the future pioneers of mankind. He held a giant sword and offered it with both hands. On the dim sword, the flames that once burned everything have now disappeared. But its shape still evokes memories of warriors. He once held this sword in his hand to slay all monsters that endanger mankind and face the punishment of the gods. Kevin stood up from his throne. Go down step by step. Old friend, we meet again. He grasped the hilt of the sword as if clutching his past. He stared at the dull blade, just as he had done thousands of times before the battle. The giant sword made of Soul Gang trembled and came to life. Its shape continues to stretch and change, responding to the fierce fighting spirit in the warrior's heart. It seems that it is not only a sword, but also a living creature with a soul. A ray of light burst out from deep within the core of the sword. Reunion with its old owner ignited its soul. The flaming sword guarding the Garden of Eden, the heavenly fire that burned Sodom. Human beings who were lucky enough to witness this sacred object have used countless myths to describe its majesty. Now, thousands of years have passed, and the myth will once again become a reality. From now on, fight with me. This command not only resounded through the hall, but also was like a silent thunder, passing through the hearts of all the followers in the distance, and even passed through the screen, shocking all the audiences in Teyvat. Announced to them that the storm was coming. Chapter 3. Shocking. Fear. Shock. Zhongli was shocked by the strength again. Even through the screen, even though I know that this is just a projection of the mysterious lord's previous life. But the power that escaped still frightened him. Zhongli, Wendy, What do you think? Wendy, it's very scary. Maybe, even that one is not as scary as him. Zhongli, yes. Paimon, who are you talking about? Wendy, well of course it's an unspeakable secret Paimon, cut Payman, Ying, after the exposure is over, let's go to Inajima to meet this mysterious god. Ying, okay Kamizato Ayaka, I don't understand this paragraph a bit. Is it talking about the Lord of God preparing a plan? Paimon, you can tell it at a glance, but if I have this strength and can just walk around the 7 kingdoms and let the 7 gods cook for me, do I still need to plan? Zhongli, in terms of universality, his plans are very big. Nazada, yeah, I'm also very curious about his plan. What could allow such a powerful person to prepare for thousands of years, and how did he die? Nazada's words were like thunder, causing everyone to react. Yes. Someone as powerful as him. How could it be a previous life? How could he die? As a result, everyone made various comments in the chat area and speculated. Some people say that this plan failed. Some people say that there are more powerful enemies. Some people also say that they just want to die. Ye Shenzi stayed next to Lin Hao, looking at the big sword inserted in front of the sacred cherry tree, with curiosity flashing in his eyes, but he did not directly ask him for the answer. Just stay by his side and continue looking at the screen. The exposure system seems to be deliberately titillating. The perspective of the picture shifts from Kevin to a city called Skydome City, and focuses on a young girl. The girl's name is Kiana Kislana. After the previous introduction by the system, everyone in Teyvat knew her origin and experience, and also knew that she was related to Kevin. In the screen, Kiana kept wandering around the scene of the Honkai outbreak, saving one collapse disaster after another. No one knew when she came, and no one knew when she left. The only thing that is certain is that when Honkai comes, the white figure will appear to save the people who are trapped in Honkai. A series of collapses. It also made the people of Teyvat see the cruelty of this world. He also clearly understood what Honkai was. The scene changes. Came to a mysterious base. Jackal said, according to Grey Snake's information, K423 has been staying in Tianxing City and has not left. Raven worriedly said, she has been wandering around the scene of the Honkaiju disaster. I am worried that she may endanger the experiment. Jackal frowned slightly, it is indeed troublesome. But there is no time to worry about her. The Lord has returned from the Quantum Sea and ordered the start of action. The priority now is the interference from Tianming. They have sent people to China. Don't let them get in the way of what we want to do. I have an idea. Raven showed a smile, K423's whereabouts are more important to Tianming, so let Tianming be busy chasing her. What happened next was just as Raven imagined. Destiny sent Rita to Tianxing City in China, and launched an investigation into Kiana's whereabouts. After detailed investigation and screening, it was determined that Kiana would appear at the location of the Honkaiju disaster. She chose a disaster flashpoint, waiting for Kiana's arrival. With the collapse, the girl suddenly appeared, floating like a shadow in the darkness cast by the Honkai beasts and the death soldiers. Violent gunshots and firelight bloomed everywhere. With the last flash of gunfire, Kiana's body fell to the ground. Under the night, her white hair condensed into a beam of moonlight, making the mountains of debris at her feet appear even darker. She tilted her head slightly, was silent for a moment, and then suddenly said, "Do you want to continue hiding? Come out." Rita comes out from behind the building. "Greetings after a long time, Miss Kiana. Or, should I call you, Hairsker of the Sky?" Kiana looked at this familiar woman, Rita Rossweiss. "I remember you." Rita just smiled elegantly, "I'm glad you still remember my name. It must be very hard to wander outside for so long. On the order of the bishop, I invite you to return to the Destiny headquarters." Kiana decisively refused, "I won't go with you." Rita said, "You should understand that your state is very unstable. This innocent city is proof of this. Because of your existence, it is frequently attacked by Honkai beasts. The only thing that can help you is Destiny. Return to the laboratory and receive treatment, and no one will be injured because of you. This is good for everyone." Kiana knows the opponent's strength. She knew even more clearly that with her current strength, the other party would not be able to catch her easily. "Otherwise, I wouldn't give too much persuasion here." She stared at Rita and asked seriously, "Which do you think is more important, catching me or preventing the disaster in this city? Rita replied, to catch you is to prevent disaster for this city. The words fell. The fight between the two broke out instantly. As an S-class Valkyrie, Rita's strength goes without saying. But now Kiana can use part of the power of the Hairsker of the Sky, and her combat effectiveness is also different. The two fought for a moment. Rita couldn't take her down for a while. Kiana pulled away. Unfortunately, it's not easy to catch me. Believe it or not, I am not the reason why the Honkaiju attacked this city. She tossed a few things to Rita. With this evidence, you can see for yourself what Shencheng medicine is trying to do. I will not leave here. For me, preventing disaster is more important than escaping. I know you don't believe my position, but the right to choose is always in your hands. After saying that, she left the scene directly. Rita didn't give chase. As Kiana said, it is not easy for her to catch the other party now. And she looked at the medicine syringe in her hand, feeling vaguely uneasy in her heart. After her investigation, it was discovered that this was based on the vaccine formula provided by Tianming and modified into an activator that could significantly improve people's resistance to Honkai energy. Combined with the stigmata found during the battle with the dead soldier not long ago, she deduced two possibilities: someone made the Valkyrie into a dead warrior, or someone was conducting experiments on ordinary people to implant stigmata. Chapter 4. Kamizato Ayaka, Lord, what is the Lord's plan? Zhongli, in terms of universality, it doesn't seem to be a good thing. Nazada, I can see that everything in this world snake is implemented around the plan of the God Lord. However, this girl named Kiana makes me very concerned. Wu Dao, yes, I care about it too. Paimon, what a pity. If Hu Dao opened a rebirth hall in that world, business would be booming. Ying, Paimon. Don't talk nonsense. Gan Yu, I also think, this experiment seems very dangerous. Funina, keep reading. With his strength, what he has done is absolutely extraordinary. The exposure continues. In the screen, the jackals and ravens of the world serpent were aware of the development of the situation. Raven is also preparing to take action against Tianming's people. Once I take action, the experiment will immediately enter a countdown state. We must get the data we want before the Tianming army arrives. Jackal said, don't worry, after the mission is over, you will have a new identity and fly away. Destiny will not find you. Then the people in this city. Raven hasn't finished speaking yet. The jackal stopped her sternly, don't show too much sympathy for worthless things. Your sympathy should be given to mankind itself. Although Tianming has great power, they have always been fooling mankind and seeking personal gain, making people mistakenly think that relying on their protection, the world is safe. As long as destiny remains, human beings will be like weak lambs in the sheepfold, only knowing how to seek shelter. Now times are different. The Lord has returned. He will sweep away the hold of destiny on the world. What we have to do is to let the world transform and be reborn under the guidance of the Lord. Because only in that world will you and the people you want to protect have a place. The raven knew that the jackal was right. She herself was the person who lost something important because of destiny's fooling. Then, let's get started. The perspective comes to Rita's side. She sneaked into China Pharmaceutical and started an investigation. As her investigation deepened, the nature of the experimental plan was gradually revealed. In front of her, experimental cabins fill the entire space. The experimental body suspended in it is both familiar and strange to Rita. Death Warrior. On the skin of these walking corpses that Rita had fought countless times, fine lines intertwined together to draw luminous marks. Stigma. Until Tianming developed the artificial stigmata, in the long history of mankind, only a handful of people chosen by fate had such special marks on their bodies. Rita gritted her teeth and stared at the faces in the container. Rita's eyes swept from each experimental cabin. She was relieved that there was no familiar person. But instead, a stronger anger surged up in his blood. These experimental subjects vary in height, size, and age. Some have Honkaija tissue implanted in their bodies, and their bodies are covered with a white silicon-based shell. Some body parts were removed and replaced with electronic prostheses. This place seems to be a grotesque human museum, where intruders are asked how far the human body can be transformed. The picture appeared on the screen in front of everyone in Teyvat. Everyone felt frightened. This scene made them furious. Nasada, ah! This is a human experiment. Funina, are these tens of thousands of people used as experimental subjects? Kamizato Ayaka, crazy. This is absolutely crazy. How could you do such a cruel and inhumane thing? Zinhai, this kind of behavior is simply more abominable than fools. Dadalaya, let me declare first, even if we are fools, we will not conduct human experiments casually. Ganyu, what is his plan? Why would he do such a thing? Wu Dao, the dead should be sent to their graves to rest in peace. I cannot accept this kind of behavior, no matter what the reason is. Paimon, I understand. It turns out that this God Lord was a complete bad guy in his last life. Ying, indeed, no matter what the reason, I cannot accept this kind of behavior. Wendy, sorry, I seem a little angry too. Zhongli, let's take a look first. I always feel that things are not that simple. And the exposure continues. Rita also looked at the instrument in the middle. He quickly cracked the password inside and caught the target he was seeking in a pile of documents. As she clicked on the information. Stigmata, the most precious heritage in human blood. Stigmata are not the product of natural evolution, but rather a miracle of pre-civilizational biotechnology. Its principles and operation methods still have many unsolved mysteries. Before the demise of previous civilizations, they inoculated the embryos of a few offspring with complex genomes of Honkaku antibodies. These genomes will build imprints on the human body, which are stigmata. Humans who carry the stigmata have greater resistance and control over Honkai energy, and thus exhibit all kinds of incredible powers. But unfortunately, as humans pass through the generations, genes continue to mutate and get exchanged. The originally complete stigmata genome eventually became fragmented. Once the puzzle is disrupted, the meaning of the pattern ceases to exist. Therefore, although every modern human being carries the stigmata gene, only a handful of people can naturally express it. The Destiny organization once imitated the stigmata by artificial means and used it through acquired implantation. But the technology is fraught with flaws and dangers and is a poor imitation. However, with the revelation of the omniscient and omnipotent snake, our research has made leaps and bounds. Now, we know how to activate and reorganize the hidden stigma fragments in human genes through artificial interventions so that they can be fully expressed. This process has been extremely difficult. Those who cannot bear it will die or even become the walking zombies. But those who survive will have the power to survive the collapse. The price is very high, but the price is also worth it. The current activation progress is still slow and far from the expected numbers. We plan to conduct experiments in a densely populated city. See here. Everyone was confused. I can't even believe that the content in this picture is real. Nisida turned pale. He quickly spoke in the chat area, human experiments? Or using the entire city as experimental material? Crazy. He must be crazy, how could he do such a cruel and inhumane thing? Chapter 5. The Eightfold Divine Son was also greatly shocked. This kind of experiment using an entire city was simply beyond their imagination. Throughout the history of the Seven Kingdoms, we have never seen such crazy and paranoid people. What do you want to do? Ye Shenzi looked at Lin Hao, who was still calm and emotionless beside him. He opened his mouth to ask. But I still held back. She clenched her fists and dismissed the doubts. No matter what he was like in his previous life, the person he knew was the most real person. She chose to believe this man. Only. The chat area is completely different. Paimon, damn it. This God Lord is so abominable. I even said I wanted to see him, hey. I won't look at him anymore. Dadalaya, compared with him, the actions of us fools are trivial. Ying, I'm already worried about Ina wife. Paimon, that's right, he actually did such a cruel thing. Xiaogong, crazy. Crazy. The Lord of God is actually the big bad guy. Funina, maybe, he has some difficulties. Nisida, no matter what the reasons are, one cannot commit such inhumane behavior. Difficulties are no excuse. Paimon, humph. No wonder he became a previous life. Such a hateful villain will definitely be killed, right? He's a singer. Wendy, it's time to slip away, what do you think? Zhongli, drunkards, generally speaking. I choose to remain silent and continue reading. Zhongli was not in a hurry to express his opinion. Based on his experience and life experience, his emotions are not too volatile. However, Tian Taishui in front of him was very excited. Oh, why didn't we realize that this man is actually a shocking villain? Human experimentation is a taboo. The guests on the side said one after another, go, you don't have to say it, we can see it ourselves. Tian Taishui smashed his mouth, everyone, please don't worry, it's not that simple, right? Zhongli picked up the teacup and took a sip, I thought so too. Everyone is curious about the subsequent development. Everything here is actually a trap planned by Raven. When Rita was shocked by the information, Raven also launched the plan. Countless experimental cabins burst, and the experimental subjects inside attacked Rita, the only living thing in the room. Rita suppressed the anger in her heart. Lift the sickle and cut the dead soldier who rushes forward in 2 pieces. Even though there are many dead soldiers here. But Rita's strength is outstanding and she can easily deal with these unconscious walking zombies. Sudden. All the dead soldiers who came to besiege dispersed. How? Rita was wondering. Dozens of gases suddenly appeared in the room. Wherever these gases filled the air, all the dead soldiers shrank and fell to the ground, completely losing their activity. The Raven's voice also appeared, this is a dispersive serum that causes the body to collapse and quickly inactivate. It is the work of a certain scientist from Destiny. It is a specially prepared version for you. It does not need to be breathed, but can enter the circulatory system through skin contact, making the Valkyrie as defenseless as ordinary people. It's really an interesting irony to use weapons made by Destiny to deal with Destiny. Following the Raven's command, dozens of hunting weapons appeared at the door, attacking Rita. It's not just Rita. Including the Immortal Blade team members led by her, they were all ambushed at this time and were all in danger. At this critical moment, Kiana appears. She relied on her powerful strength to rescue the members of the Immortal Blade. At the request of the team members, he went to the Divine City Medical Underground and found Rita, who was under siege. It seems, Miss Maid, you have made your choice. When Rita saw the person coming, she forced herself to stand up, it's just a temporary choice. Kiana showed a smile, you should still have the strength to break out for the time being, Miss Maid. Certainly. Rita wanted to be strong and tightened her grip on the scythe again. Fight side by side with Kiana and start the breakout. Raven, who was watching everything from behind, also understood why Rita suddenly suspected her side. It turned out that Kiana was behind the scenes. Unfortunately, it's too late now. She had not made full deployment, so she could only watch them escape. Inside the safe house, the two got a short break. Kiana gave up the bed to Rita, who was more seriously injured, and leaned on the sofa to take a nap. Just fell into a deep sleep. He found himself in an endless bone-white desert, with endless darkness in front of him. In this dead land, she and 7 comrades who have the same goal will usher in the end of this long war. After this war that determines the fate of all mankind is over, can any of them stand on this and welcome the dawn of a new day? There was no answer in her mind. Kevin suddenly came to her. According to May's calculations, there is only the last hour left before his arrival. Yes. She said, Kevin, I hope that after today, humanity can continue to go forward. Kevin replied, yes. If you still have any doubt, just look back at the earth behind you. The girl turned around. The earth is like a blue marble, suspended in the endless deep space. Kevin continued, every time I look up, I shudder at the darkness and coldness of the universe. But even so, it still has warmth. Because the earth gave birth to us, and because the stars still shine above us. Earth. The girl couldn't help but think, what are people doing on earth at this moment? Lamenting, crying, or having a doomsday carnival? From the perspective of the moon, all the disputes and anger, pain, and nostalgia that have happened, are no longer important. What matters is always the future. The girl said, Kevin, the dispute between me and Dr. May, and the words I said to you. I'm sorry. Kevin shook his head slightly, there is no need to apologize to those who can entrust their lives. The girl was confused, really, then what should I say? Kevin said firmly, promise. If any of us can come out of this battlefield alive, we must bear more responsibilities. Those plans prepared by May, the Stigmata Project, Fire Project, Arc Project. Although not everyone agrees with these plans, these efforts will plant the seeds for the revival of mankind. Those of us who survive must care for these seeds and prevent them from repeating the same mistakes until a new civilization is built. Hwa, I believe that the hope of ending Honkai permanently lies within it. Humanity will sacrifice a lot to get to that day. But, Humanity will never lose hope. Kiana suddenly woke up. Chapter 6. Kiana. Fu Hua's voice fell into her mind. This is communication between consciousnesses. Kiana came back to her senses and murmured, "Did I fall asleep? I had a dream. I dreamed that I was standing in a place like the moon, preparing for a big battle. I also dreamed that a man was talking to me. His face was familiar, but I didn't recognize him. He thought I was someone else and called me Hua." Fu Hua thought for a moment. He replied, "Maybe for some reason, our consciousnesses are intertwined. It seems that with your dreams, I can also recall many things in the past. I didn't have the chance to tell you before. In fact, you can't believe it when I tell you. My identity is not just the Valkyrie of Destiny. My life journey is too long, and it can be traced back to what you call pre-civilization era. I'm a survivor of that era." Kiana was shocked. Although she has long known that her squad leader is unusual. But I never expected that it would be so exaggerated that it was unbelievable. "Then, who is the man talking to you?" Fu Hua replied, "Kevin Kislana. The source of your Kislana family's bloodline, a survivor of the final battle of the previous civilization, and the most powerful protector of mankind." Speaking of this, she was silent for a moment. He added, "If he had died in that battle, everything would have been like this. But the result of the final battle was too tragic. It changed me and it also changed Kevin. After the war, Kevin founded an organization called the World Snake and began to implement human revitalization plans left over from previous civilizations." World Snake. Kiana remembered the information from the recent investigation. "You mean Project Stigmata?" Fu Hua nodded, "Yes. This plan is necessary, but the price it will pay may never be affordable by humans. Many forerunners could not agree with what Kevin did and thought he had crossed that line. Many people broke away and rebelled against him, but then he suddenly disappeared from history." Kiana asked, "What's going on?" Fu Hua said, "It's a long story, I'll tell you when I get the chance." In any case, many people breathed a sigh of relief. After Kevin disappeared, the world snake became a mess. I even thought that hundreds of years ago, it has died. But in the underground laboratory, when I saw the files recording my footprints and the familiar sign, I understood that they had not disappeared, but had just hid in the shadows, waiting patiently for their master's return. Listen up, Kiana, we can't stay in Tiandome City any longer. If that man comes back from the seal, if all this is his plan, then this place is too dangerous. Based on what I know about him, once he finds you, he will definitely kill you. I could still protect you in the past, but now. Kiana was a little unwilling, so I can only escape? Like the past 3 months? But squad leader, escape, where can I escape to? I have escaped countless times. I am afraid, retreat, and shrink my body, hide in a group in a corner and finally escape. I will not leave Tianxing City. I don't want to look back in the future and find that every choice I make is an escape." Fu Hua sighed. He did not persuade her anymore. "Now that you have made up your mind, I will not oppose you. But Kiana, once you find out that Kevin appears in Tianxing City, you must choose to avoid it temporarily." "I understand." Kiana nodded and agreed. See here. In the chat area. Nazada, even his former comrades commented this way. Now he is indeed a complete villain. Everyone in Inajima should be on guard. Funina, but, doesn't he pay great attention to promises? For the promise of the pre-civilization, he resolutely implements the plan without caring about other people's opinions, even if his former comrades stay away from him. Isn't this right? Nasada, being focused on commitments does not mean that he can control other people's lives at will. This is evil. Funina, I don't think so, at least, his purpose is to save mankind, which is definitely not evil. Seeing the two of them arguing, many people in the chat area chose to remain silent. The reason is simple. They can't tell who is right for a while. Everyone has their own opinion. In Lin Hao's previous world, no one knew what consequences his choices would have. A rational person would choose to continue watching and then make a decision. However, Wendy came out and said, "Okay, there is no need to argue about good and evil. This kind of argument has no meaning. After all, the current Lord Rice wife is not the Kevin in the previous life, right? Kamizato Ayaka, actually, it may be true. I once saw that big sword in front of the sacred cherry tree, and also saw the cold back of the god. Wendy, it's time for you to slip up, let's talk about it. Zhongli, in terms of universality. Wendy, you'd better say otherwise. Zhongli, drunkard, where are you? I'll buy you a drink. Wendy, no need. Due to the deliberate quarrel between the two, the debate between good and evil was temporarily put on hold. Rice wife. Narukami Taisha Shrine. Ye Kamiko watched the argument between the two with interest. He deliberately approached Lin Hao and said teasingly, look, they are arguing about whether you are a good person or a bad person. What do you think? Do you want me to explain it to you? Lin Hao looked directly at the exposure screen looking at the sky. He said in a cold tone, no need, let others judge the merits and demerits. I just want to have a clear conscience and fulfill my promise. Ye Shenzhe was stunned for a while. Showing a smile, as expected of me, I know who I am, but remember the promise between you and me. Lin Hao nodded, that's natural. Ye Kamiko smiled even more happily. She didn't care what kind of person he was in his previous life. It was enough to know that he valued his commitment so much. But Ye Shenzhe was also quite curious. Why would such a powerful man be willing to make such a promise? Just curious. The exposed scene gave her the answer. In the screen, Kiana once again sneaked into the medical base to find a way to stop the world snake experiment. And Rita also launched her own action. While contacting Hollander, she also sent a message to Anti-Entropy, and she also sneaked in to find the antidote. At this time, a girl appeared behind her holding a sword. Miss May, long time no see. The girl's face was revealed. The Eightfold Divine Son was stunned and said, hey! Isn't this my god? Chapter 7. Ye Shenzhe completely understood at this moment. No wonder. No wonder a powerful man like Lin Hao chose to come to Dao wife. No wonder he made that deal with himself and made that promise. It turns out to be like this. Understood. Ye Shenzhe completely understood. He shouted directly, so you are thinking about my god. Lin Hao looked at the hair of the fan of Ye Shenzhe, and then looked at the sacred cherry tree in front of him. It's not what you think. Ye Shenzhe didn't listen to his explanation at all. In the chat area, he quickly said that's right, this girl named May must be your previous life. Thunder movie, son of God, don't talk nonsense. Zhongli, I see. No wonder he chose to become the goddess of Rice wife. Wendy, oh? Something interesting happened. Kamizato Ayaka, what? Lord God and Lord Raiden actually knew each other in the previous life. Son of the Eightfold God, the Eightfold Hall is about to publish a new book, The Grudges and Entanglements Between the God Lord and the Thunder God in the Previous Life. Thunder movie, son of God, do you want to try Wu Xiang's sword? Ye Shenzhe, help Breakage is so angry that he wants to kill someone. Thunder movie, don't talk nonsense. Maybe that's not the case. It's possible that he came here just for you. Eightfold Divine Son, impossible, this is absolutely impossible. Gan Yu, why? I feel like the chat area looks better than the exposure screen. Funina, the next drama is, the entanglement between the Rice wife god and the god master, the jealous little fox. Yadi Shenzhe, nonsense, how could I be jealous? Funina, look audience, the little fox is already in a hurry. Ye Shenzhe, Lady Funina, it seems she also wants to be featured in my Ye Hall novel. Funina, I don't want to. Ye Shenzhe looked at Lin Hao aside angrily. Said, hurry up and admit it, you are here just for the Thunder movie. Lin Hao shook his head gently, you are wrong, she is not her previous life, and I am not here just for her. Ye Shenzhe was stunned for a moment. Only? That is to say. Could he be his target too? Lin Hao glanced at her, stop thinking about it, your tail is exposed. Ye Shenzhe woke up instantly. He quickly retracted his tail and snorted, I don't believe it. Then he continued to look at the screen in the sky. She is very interested in the past life of this movie, she thinks. May put the knife on Rita's neck, I received the message you conveyed. After receiving your message, we have prepared for the worst. She stared at the weapon in Rita's hand and said slightly, now, why do you make me believe that you didn't cause trouble this time? Rita remained elegant and calm, when the knife is held at your neck, lying is the most irrational choice. Look around and you will understand that there is no ambush here. Now I have no power to fight back against Miss May. I just want to make a deal with you, you help me get the antidote, and I will tell you the whereabouts of Miss Kiana. To prove everything he said. Rita waved her hand, and the armor's recording device projected an image of her and Kiana fighting together. In this city, we're all on the same page. Humph. Mei snorted coldly and put away the weapon. Rita showed a satisfied smile. It seems that you and I have reached a consensus. Then, please, Miss Mei. Mei didn't say much. Search directly within the base. The defense in the base is very weak now, so it is naturally easy to find the serum antidote. It didn't take much time at all. With Rita's help, she found the serum antidote and threw it to Rita. Rita also informed Mei of Kiana's whereabouts. Industrial area. Underground laboratory. Kiana was fixed on the experimental table. Electricity continued to course through her body. Kiana woke up after fainting. A violent coughing sound was made. Jackal hid behind the screen and was very surprised when he looked at the experimental data. Very good, Hairsker of the Sky. In the test just now, you only fainted for a third of a second. Your body is simply a miracle. It seems like it will return to its original shape no matter what I do. Can you still speak? Jackal asked while recording the data. Kiana spoke with a trembling voice, your experiment, the experiment in Tianzi City, how many people will survive? Jackal said, do you care about the number of people? I thought that to the Hairsker of the Sky, the number of deaths was as meaningless as the crumbs on the table after dinner. When I have the answer, I will definitely tell you. As long as you can still hear my voice at that time. The next project is the connection reaction between the Hairsker's core and physiological tissue next moment. Kiana couldn't help but scream in pain. And on the other side of the screen, a string of amused laughter burst out from under the Jackal mask. The resistance of your cells to Honkai energy is amazing. After injecting the Honkai energy solution, the holy marks began to glow. These marks are so beautiful, and they also give me greater confidence in the future promised by the Lord. The contrast between this torture and being tortured. The audience in Teyvat was all angry. This is anger against jackals. This anger, through Jackal's behavior, turned into anger towards World Snake and Kevin. It even evolved into anger towards the current Lord Inajima. At first, I still couldn't tell whether he was a good or bad person, but now I think he is a heinous bad guy and an absolute villain. The screams coming from the sky screen became more and more shrill. Even in such a painful and miserable situation, Kiana is still concerned about the situation in Tianxing City, asking about their plans, their purpose, etc. The anger in the hearts of the audience who watched this exposure became more and more intense. The image of this girl is deeply rooted in the hearts of everyone in Teyvat. Sudden. The screams stopped. A smile appeared on Kiana's lips. It took me so long to get some answers. The weak, trembling person in pain, the test subject who had no power to fight back, showed a smile that only a hunter could have. All the audience were stunned. Jackal was also stunned. This is impossible, you just clearly have. Kiana smiled and said, oh, learning to scream and fake crying is a necessary skill for girls. Just the 2 times you did it, it actually didn't hurt that much. She raised her fist. 1 punch, 2 punches, the reinforced glass as strong as steel was completely shattered under her anger. Remember, it's not just these pieces of glass that will be shattered today, but also your stupid stigmata plan. She escapes from the lab continuously destroy the chasing enemies. Sudden. The laboratory door behind her shook with a loud bang. Fall to the sides. Kiana turned around and prepared to face the new enemy. A gentle and familiar voice fell into my ears, Kiana. Chapter 8. Kiana imagined 10,000 scenarios of meeting Mei Yi again. But nothing like this, at such a moment, in such a place. There was no joy in her heart, only panic. Mei. What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. Here, is dangerous. After experiencing so many changes, Kiana thought she was strong enough to face the reunion calmly. But the moment she saw Mei, her self-confidence collapsed, and she was left with lingering guilt and fear of losing control again. The demons from the past kept whispering behind her. Mei remained silent and hugged Kiana tightly. She clasped Kiana's clothes tightly, as if once she let go, the girl in front of her would disappear. This touching picture appears in the sky, falling into the eyes of everyone in the Teyvat continent. Many people were moved by it. Many people have a lot of emotions in their hearts. But in the chat area, the person who was having a lively chat just now, joking with Lin Hao about Thunder movies. All were silent at this moment. Even in the chat area, no one sent a message for a while. Ye Shenzi was also extremely embarrassed. He said, Lin Hao, I'm sorry, I didn't expect you to be cheated on. I don't. The moment Lin Hao spoke. Because of the emotional fluctuations, terrifying power burst out from the body. The entire sea area near Narukami Island was frozen by this power, and the temperature in Inajima dropped several degrees. Even the gods in other countries felt the fluctuations of this power. If it's something else, he could still take it calmly, but it was something like being cheated on. It is absolutely impossible to happen, and no blasphemous joke is allowed. Wendy spoke nonchalantly in the chat area, look, the God Lord is angry. Little fox, don't be too close to the God of Thunder. Nazada. Funina. Ganyu. Thunder movie, I have been in the Pure Land for many years, and I have some insights in my heart. Wendy, come and let me try the knife. Zhongli, drunkard, you are really not afraid of death. Yeshenzi, don't talk nonsense, Lin Hao seems to care about this matter. Wendy, it's so strange he didn't care at all when Nazada said he was a villain and a great villain. Why did he react so suddenly? Nasada, hey! Don't mention me at this time. Zhongli, in terms of universality, maybe this incident is his reverse scale and cannot be blasphemed. Wendy, what a strange person. Shen He, could it be, that this is love? I'm even more curious about him. In fact, everyone's thoughts are similar to Shen He's. I am even more curious about Lin Hao's past life. What kind of man is this? Possessing powerful strength that no one can match, he clearly ignores everything. But because of such a sentence, there will be emotional fluctuations. What has he experienced? What kind of past does it have? As the exposure scenes were shown one by one, everyone was gradually attracted to Kiana. In the screen, Kiana's reunion with Mei was very brief. Soon, due to the arrival of the crisis, they each responded to the challenge and escaped from the base together. At the same time, she took the opportunity to inform Mei Yi of the current situation. Just now in the laboratory, the guy with the dog's head revealed their plan. In addition to modifying the vaccine to activate the stigmata in the human body, the world snake will also create a collapse disaster that covers the entire city and completely activate the stigmata. Mei Yi asked, is there no more detailed time and place? The words just fell. Rita's voice appeared, I know where it is. She looked over Kiana, it seems that Miss Kiana is in good condition, so I'll be relieved. Mei Yi is very taboo about this kind of sight. Standing directly in front of Kiana, don't even think about taking her away from me. Rita said, Miss Mei, please be patient. I said that in this city, we are on the same side. Just now, Miss Kiana mentioned that the world serpent will cause collapse in the city. I think I know what the second half of the plan is. In this city that closely monitors the use of Honkai energy, we should not be able to find anything that can cause large-scale Honkai. However, if it passes the inspection and legally enters the city, that is not necessarily the case. Especially those large vehicles driven by Honkai energy, my ship EOS is such a suitable target. Kiana also had a guess in her mind, so those guys. Rita nodded and told the information she knew, they dismantled the Honkai energy engine of the EOS. In order to maximize the impact on the residents of Skydome City, they placed the engine on top of the signal tower in the center of the city. Remove the protective shell, and as long as the engine core is overloaded for a period of time, it will become a time bomb that releases a huge amount of Honkai energy. Boom! After the investigation, Tianming can no longer be cleared. Learn the truth about the entire experimental plan. Kiana was also a little anxious, we can't stay here any longer. That's right. The sickle in Rita's hand suddenly appeared, but it seems that the other party doesn't intend to let us leave in a big way. She rushed directly towards the pursuing enemy, I'll hold it back, and I'll leave it to you to disarm the bomb. Thank you for coming to save me at that time. In this way, we are clear of both sides. Rita fought the enemies alone, blocking all the enemies for Kiana and Mei. Kiana also hurried to her destination. Now, she just wants to defuse the explosion as soon as possible and save the city. Next moment, the Raven attack came suddenly. Mei subconsciously blocked Kiana and was hit by this attack. Kiana quickly caught Mei as she flew out. Mei. I'm fine, Kiana, don't be distracted by me. Kiana put Mei down, stood up, and looked at the Raven high up. It's not too late to stop. Your plan is not to save people, but to kill them. Raven looked at her contemptuously. Slaughter? As the creator of the second collapse, the biggest murderer in human history. What qualifications does a monster like you have to judge us? Have you ever heard the voices of those who died because of you? Those who are infected with Honkai impact and are about to die, the women who are mourning their husbands, the children who were taken away from their parents and brothers and trained as mercenaries. Their wails, their cries, you can't possibly hear them. There was a rare trace of pain on her expressionless face. But when she thought of the Lord's experiments and the future described by the Lord, she gained a little more hope and expectation. Once the experiment is completed, humanity will no longer have to bear what you represent. Kiana knew that she could not persuade her. This look. That glimmer of hope. It looks exactly like a jackal's face. They are all, the absolute implementers of the Lord and Kevin's plan. Chapter 9. The fight between the two broke out instantly. Perhaps because she was eager to prevent the disaster, Kiana did not hold back, and the battle came to an end in a short time. The battle ended in Kiana's victory. Raven dragged the injured body. Looking at the tallest building in Tianxing City. A cruel smile appeared on his face. I won. No matter what you do now, it is impossible to change this outcome. I held you back. I won this battle. Kiana didn't want to kill her. This also gave the Raven a chance to escape, as thick white smoke rose. The Raven also disappears here. Etc. Kiana wanted to stop it, but it was too late. We've come this far, but there's no time. In order to get to this point, she drained every bit of strength from her body and forced her body to walk on the verge of collapse. There must be another way to leave. I can't be trapped here. Despair and regret tormented her. Fu Hua's voice appeared in his mind. Kiana, use the power of the Hersker of the Sky with all your strength. Kiana was stunned. Squad leader, what did you say? Fu Hua continued, awaken all the power of the Hersker of the Sky in your body. We still hope to get there before the engine explodes and prevent this from happening. Kiana said, I understand what you want to do, and I also know that this is the only way. But you are already very weak. Fu Hua didn't care about his situation. I will try my best to restrain her personality, so you can use the power of Hersker's core to your heart's content. You are right. When a person looks back on the past days, he cannot find that he is always on the run. Those who died because of the collapse have passed. They did not have the chance to see the world become better due to your efforts. But you can let those who are alive see all this with their own eyes. Kiana turned back and took a deep look at Mei. Mei Yi's lips trembled slightly, as if the moment she turned back, she already understood the decision she was going to make. Her eyes and silence had already told Kiana her thoughts. She understands, very clearly. Kiana will not stop at this moment. Just do what you're supposed to do. As Fu Hua's voice appeared, the inherently dangerous and restless side of his soul seemed to be firmly suppressed by a gentle and steady hand. The fear and doubt that had been hanging over her disappeared under the clear night sky. She started running. Kiana knew it very well. It is very difficult for Fu Hua to suppress the consciousness of the Hersker of the Sky. She must not use this power at will or increase the burden on her squad leader. She jumped onto a tall building and kept running back and forth on the top of the building. Keep getting closer to the highest point in the distance. Whoosh! Sound broke through the air suddenly. Kiana decisively summoned a baseball bat and swung it towards the side. Bang! With the sound of metal, the attacking missiles were also shot away by her. Her whereabouts were discovered by the mecha deployed by World Snake. On her way forward, several mechas appeared one by one and launched a fierce attack on her. I don't have time to spend time with you here. Kiana's pace didn't stop at all, and she rushed forward despite the gunfire. The baseball bat in her hand became her strongest defense. Continuously defeat all attacks. And get close to the mecha and destroy them all. Even if she encounters a powerful mecha, she will only use the power of Hersker of the Sky to a limited extent to defeat the mecha accurately. Under this battle, she finally got close to where the engine was stored. This is where the bomb must be defused as soon as possible. She hurried to the engine. Sudden. The terrifying Honkai storm formed by the Honkai energy erupted wantonly from the engine. Even Kiana's body was cracked due to this terrifying Honkai energy, and the severe pain made it difficult for her to get even close. At this time, Teyvat continent. Countless people have been impressed by Kiana's behavior. They all shouted, "Come on, Kiana. It must succeed. Only you can stop Kevin's plan. Don't give up. Never give up, move forward bravely. Come on. Kiana. Sounds of cheering and shouts echoed in countless places throughout the Teyvat continent. It seemed, even the Kaihokia people in the wild were cheering for her, and they were all agitated. Countless people were worried about her. Countless people cheered for her. Countless people clenched their fists, wanting to give her some strength in this way. And in the screen, Kiana ignored her body and was eroded by the Honkai impact. Step by step closer to the engine. Eventually he grabbed hold of the engine and tried to shut it down completely. But the next moment, an even more terrifying collapse storm swept over. Even her hairsker body was unable to withstand it. Make her miserable. Kiana. A voice that surprised everyone suddenly sounded. A warm hand covered hers. This is the voice of Wuliang Tajizai. Her gentle eyes looked at Kiana with trust. Even though everyone knows this is an illusion. But this moment, such a picture still gave her infinite power. Heimko, teacher, I promised you that I will turn this imperfect story into what we expect. Ah! Kiana used all the power of the hairsker of space in her body, flying into the sky with an engine about to explode. This moment, she can fully use the power of hairsker of the sky. This moment, she was like a shooting star, piercing the night sky of Tianxing City. Fly to the distant sky. Use the last of your power to push the engine into the sky. At the moment when the engine exploded, enough Honkai energy to destroy a city was absorbed into the body. Kevin's experimental plan in Sky Dome City quietly dissipated in the dazzling fire. Everyone in Teyvat continent was excited. Chat area. Nisida, well done. Kiana. Paimon, well done, Kevin's inhumane plan should be crushed. Let us take a good look at his regretful appearance after the failure of his plan. Ye Shenzi, I also want to see Lin Hao's upset look. It will be very interesting. Gan Yu, I obviously want to see the past life of Lord Inajima. Why am I attracted to this girl? Nisida, because this is the real hero, Kevin. He's just a complete villain. Zhongli, let's ignore the good and bad guys for now, this girl's will has surpassed that of the gods. Funina, in order to save the city, I will sacrifice myself. I will keep her will in mind. Wendy, I almost cried. Paimon, singer. Don't break the atmosphere. Xiaogong, is this the world of the Lord God in his previous life? In comparison, the time we live in is really peaceful and peaceful. Chapter 10. Even Liu's Tian Taishui shouted excitedly, this meteor in the sky is so shocking and touching. The girl's growth is comparable to that of gods. I want to compile her deeds into a book. Zhongli nodded slightly, in times of crisis, humans will shine brightly. She is indeed comparable to gods. It's not just them. Countless people were impressed by Kiana's bravery and fearlessness. Everyone was impressed by her greatness. Happy that she was able to successfully wield the power of the hairsker of the sky. She is also worried about her future. Rice wife. Seeing that Kevin's experimental plan was destroyed, Ye Shenzi's mood suddenly improved. She was still a little bit emotional just now because Kevin was suddenly angry about the frozen sea. He deliberately joked, this experiment failed, you must be so angry that your heart will collapse, crying and fussing, ugh, oh, how pitiful. Just teasing her didn't feel satisfied. He even posted this sentence to the chat area. The purpose is to get a little revenge on him. Everyone in the chat group saw this news. Also interested. Wendy, it would be so fun to see Kevin crying and fussing with anger. Nazida, hey? This kind of scene. I'm looking forward to it. The hero's success is more interesting only if it is supported by the villain's anger. Funina, maybe. I don't think he will be angry. Thunder movie, actually. I also want to see him cry. Kamizato Ayaka, Mr. Yigomiya, is the God Lord really crying in anger? Is this why I was angry when I saw the sea was frozen just now? Xiaogong, no way. Nazida, the rice wife is very dangerous. You should pay more attention to this man. Dadalia, oh? Can you see a man crying? Then I'm interested. Everyone looked expectantly at the screen in the sky. Want to see if Kevin, who has great strength, can really cry? In the screen, Jackal is reporting to Kevin on the situation in Sky Dome City. Lord, Yolandal took away hairsker of the sky. We traced her destination to North Africa, a dead city that was destroyed by Honkai. Regarding this location, there have been more than a dozen abnormal increases in Honkai energy there in the past 2 years, and we happen to be familiar with this reaction. That uninhabited city is the experimental site for the second god's key. It's different than everyone imagined. After Kevin learned about the situation in Sky Dome City, his tone was cold and flat. Let's go, we still have a lot to do. Jackal continued to report, there is one more thing. 15 minutes and 36 seconds ago, after coming into contact with the unstable EOS engine, Kiana Kislana manifested the Hairsker of the Sky with her own will for the first time. Posture. Although there is still a big gap between the Honkai Energy Index and Siren, it can be considered that her emergence has begun. Should we include her in? Kevin replied, I have other plans for her. Clear. Even though he was an arrogant jackal before, he is now as obedient as a puppy. He completely obeys Kevin's words and doesn't dare to ask any more questions. Hang up the communication. Kevin stood up from his throne. The grey snake half kneeling in front of him could see clearly. The failure of Tianxing City's experimental plan did not cause any fluctuations in this lord. The only thing that made his eyes look a little turbulent was what Jackal reported later. Kevin picked up the sword on one side. Raging flames light up the entire space. Take action. His words were still concise, but there was no doubt about them. Yes, Lord. Grey Snake received the order. Immediately notify everyone in World Snake of the action's instructions. World Serpent's troops began to gather. Everyone in Teyvat looked at this scene with confusion. Wendy, is Kevin really an emotionless person? He is simply colder than Liu's rock god. Zhongli, Prince Yan is not cold, he is just not good at words. Payman, yes, Prince Yan is not good at speaking. He drinks and makes jokes and sings. Ying, Paimon. Thunder movie, now, I am more curious about what he has experienced to be so cruel. Could it be that he has also lost someone close to him? Eightfold Divine Son, I think you might get the answer if you come out of the pure land of one heart and ask it yourself. Thunder movie, no. Funina, his coldness may just be a disguise. No one knows how much burning emotion he hides in his heart. Zhongli, keep reading, I think the exposure system will give us the answer. Kevin's order was instantly transmitted to everyone in World Snake. In a short period of time, they all gathered outside the dead city in North Africa. The action begins. Following his order, World Snake's people instantly launched an attack on the Tianming base. Such a premeditated attack would be difficult to stop even if it was fate. Hollander immediately contacted Otto at the Destiny headquarters. Bishop, the base has been attacked by the World Snake. There are many enemies and this is a premeditated action. This laboratory has been exposed. The Hairsker of the Sky escaped during the chaos. I will find her as soon as possible. But the God Key also needs to be guarded. I can't take care of everything by myself. World Serpent. Otto pondered for a moment, we cannot yet determine the World Serpent's target. To protect the second God's Key, we must not let the World Serpent come into contact with it. As for K423, just let her escape. The further away the better. Only when K423 leaves there will we and World Snake have more room to maneuver. I have kept the insurance. No matter how she escapes, she can't escape Tianming's surveillance. It won't be too late to find her after we finish dealing with the matter here. Yolandal nodded, I understand. Outside the base. In this deserted city, hundreds of mechas roam the weathered streets in pursuit of their prey. And in the torrent of steel, Kevin stood on the ruins like a rock. Jackal's communication arrived, Lord, the vanguard has entered the base and begun fighting with Yolandal. Compared to these, Kevin asked directly, where is the Hairsker of the Sky? Jackal replied, it has not been found yet, and we are conducting further searches. Kevin said, contain Ulandel. I will deal with the Hairsker of the Sky. As commanded. Communication hung up. Kevin closed his eyes and listened to the sound of dust blowing in the wind. In an instant, Honkai energy flowing within 100 miles radius was like a huge whirlpool, and began to gather with him as the center. These vortices may be strong or weak, but none of them are close to the Hairsker's energy level. But in an instant, a tiny turbulence caught his attention. Although it was fleeting, it was firmly grasped by Kevin. Kevin opened his eyes and looked at the remains of the towering building thousands of meters away. Behind the scattered wall, Kiana's eyes met his. Found it. Chapter 11. Thousands of meters away. Kiana hid behind the ruins, breathing heavily. In the moment just now, he must have discovered me, right? It shouldn't be possible, maybe it's just a coincidence. She comforted herself. After all, the distance was so far and he was so hidden, so he would never be discovered normally. Anyway, get out of here. Kiana didn't dare to stop at all. Keep running in the opposite direction where Kevin was found just now. Until it's far enough away. Her pace slowed down. Wiping the sweat from his forehead, he breathed a long sigh of relief. Hey, we are already some distance away from the base. The sight just now was really an illusion. Kevin. He is the person who appeared in my dream before. The squad leader said he is in danger, so it's better to stay away. Just go through the ruins and leave the city. When the time comes. Kiana muttered to herself. She didn't notice at all that Kevin had already appeared in front of her. Waiting quietly for her to get closer step by step. Until the distance is close enough. Kevin then said, "Where do you want to go?" "What?" Kiana was shocked. "You? Why are you here?" Facing Kevin standing in front of her, Kiana was unable to move, even trembling had given up. His gaze is profound, as if it can awaken the fear engraved in the deepest part of human genes. That's the way a predator looks at its prey. Only one possibility came to Kiana's mind, "Are you here, to kill me?" Kevin didn't answer. His eyes penetrated Kiana's consciousness and noticed the familiar power in her body. The sword in his hand burned instantly. It rushed straight into Kiana's chest with scorching flames. Without any hesitation. Stung into her chest. At this critical moment. Time and space seemed to stand still. A piece of feather quietly appeared in front of Kiana, blocking the sword for her. Then, the feather transformed into a human form under the bright light. Kevin saw a familiar face. "Hua, long time no see." Fu Hua stared at him warily. "Kevin, stop." Compared to two people. Kiana now felt like the hairs all over her body were standing on end, and her heart felt chilly, as if she had just walked through the gates of hell. Die. She had never felt so close to death. That kind of inability to resist. A feeling that is completely impossible to compete with. In front of Kevin, she was like a chicken waiting to be slaughtered, unable to resist at all. Even if I use the power of the hairsker of the sky. As long as that man wanted to, he could kill her in an instant. Haha. Kiana kept breathing heavily, her body still unable to suppress the fear. Monitor. Fu Hua knew very well how powerful Kevin was. She can't care too much now. Kiana, leave quickly and don't look back. What? Kiana was shocked. The mysterious and powerful squad leader in her heart actually urged her to leave. She looked at Kevin in disbelief. Is this man so terrifying? Kevin noticed her gaze, but didn't make the slightest move. They were completely allowed to communicate. Fu Hua also continued, "I wanted to accompany you for a while longer, but now it's time to say goodbye. Do you still remember the agreement we made in Tianxing City? You promised me. I will buy you time, now, get out of here." Kiana is still unwilling to leave, unwilling to do so. Kevin was still watching the two of them, his eyes always falling on Hua, feeling her changes and giving her enough time. In his eyes, Hua has changed a lot from the image of her. Fu Hua continued to persuade, "If you die here, your promise to change the world will become empty words." Monitor. Kiana struggled and said, "I understand, I'm sorry." She turned around and ran, unable to bear to look back again. She ran faster and faster, her figure became increasingly faint, and was eventually swallowed up by the dust. "Goodbye, Kiana." Fu Hua looked at her back and whispered these words. Both of them knew that the separation at this time was destined to never see them again. Because they all understand the terror of this man. Teyvat continent. In the chat area. Nazada, it's over. Fu Hua is going to be killed. Wu Dao, I quite like this squad leader who silently protects Kiana. It's such a pity. I will build a grave for her. Zhenjun Liu Yunjifeng, well, I also like her very much. Her personality is just like mine. Paimon, ah. That woman. She is also in the chat area. Zhenjun Liu Yunjifeng, how presumptuous. What a woman. I have always been here, but I just felt something when I saw Fu Hua. She is too similar to me, and she is silently protecting my disciple. Gan Yu, true Lord Shen He, it seems, looks a bit similar. Paimon, look alike? But that woman is obviously a big bird. Zhongli, Payman, Liu Yunjifeng Zhenjun once took the form of a human and wandered around the mountains. His appearance is indeed very similar to Fu Hua. Paimon, what? She can actually turn into a human. Zhenjun Liu Yunjifeng, humph. Nazada, let's talk about it, Fu Hua is going to be killed. Funina, I don't think so. Kevin is not that kind of person. He must have perseverance in his heart. This is his theater. Everyone was used to the arguments between Nisida and Fanina. Everyone has experienced different things, and naturally their views on things are also different. Therefore, few people now participate in the debate. They all chose to continue reading to see the results. In the exposure screen, Kevin did not take action, but put away the Skyfire sword. Hua, you have changed. There was a hint of hidden sadness and nostalgia in his eyes, but no one knew why he, who had always been cold and indifferent, showed such an expression. Maybe Fu Hua didn't say much and directly used his power to bring Kevin into the illusion. Kevin still looked at Fu Hua. You Dutchan, you know, it can't interfere with my senses. Fu Hua took a step forward, stood as tall as a mountain, slowly stretched out his hand, palm upward. Look at her like this. Kevin's eyes flashed with nostalgia. This was the figure who had stood beside him countless times 50,000 years ago. I don't want to disturb your senses, but to show you everything I have experienced. Follow Fu Hua's luck. Countless images were introduced into Kevin's eyes. God Red Kite, Immortal Taixu, Valkyrie of Destiny, Academy Monitor. All the pictures finally converged and condensed into the Fu Hua in front of them. And my state of mind. This was Fu Hua's strongest attack when he gathered all his power. Chapter 12. Kevin faced this most powerful blow. The Skyfire sword in his hand burst out with scorching flames, burning the entire space to the point of collapse. As he swung his sword, the flames instantly increased dozens of times. The power of terror passed through the screen, shocking everyone in Teyvat. Powerful. Fear. Far more than a god. Unrivaled. This is the thought that pops up in countless people's minds instantly. But what followed was more questions. How much of Kevin's power is this blow? A full blow? Or, just wave it? Unimaginable. It's impossible to predict. In the screen, the terrifying flames collided with Fu Hua's condensed Taixu sword chi. The burst of light made it impossible for anyone to look directly at it. But this light appears only for a moment. It completely dissipates. The battle also ended in an instant. Hua, your last move is indeed very strong, but it no longer has enough power to support it. We could have witnessed the day when humanity defeated Honkai together. You've worked too hard and you need to rest. You don't have to worry about the future, I will complete our mission. Kevin said, reaching out to touch Fu Hua's body. When he spread his hand again, there was already a feather that seemed to be absent in his palm. At the same time, the dream collapsed and the bubble disappeared. The scenery in front of him changed, and Kevin returned to the dusty ruins again. I will wake you up when everything is over. Until then, sleep peacefully. Kevin carefully put away the feathers. The contact voice also rang in my ears. Lord, you finally responded. What just happened? Kevin said coldly, just catching up with a friend. See here. Daozhu finally couldn't help complaining in the chat area, reminiscing about the past. The devastating battle just now was just a reminiscence about the past? Are you crazy? Paimon, oh, don't you like to challenge the strong? Let's challenge Lord Inajima now. Daozhu, I like to challenge the strong, but I don't like to seek death. Ying, so you're scared? Daozhu, no. I just have things to deal with in Liu and don't have time to go to Dao wife. Ye Shenzi, I welcome you to Inajima as a guest. Lin Hao also said that he will accept your challenge at any time. Daozhu, I really don't have time. Paimon, he Ying, haha Daozhu, I really don't have time. Paimon, ah, yes, yes. Don't be afraid, the battle just now may have been all of Kevin's strength. The message from Payman was just sent out. I was attracted by the movement in the sky. It turned out that Yolandal had already solved the World Snake troops that besieged the base and came to Kevin. You must be the leader of the World Snake. Kevin noticed her fighting spirit. He said calmly, "Come on. As you wish." Yolandel clenched her spear and prepared to attack. Next moment, terrifying power burst out from Kevin's body, and the breath penetrated Hollander's body and spread towards the surroundings. Sizzling, accompanied by tiny sounds. Wherever the breath passes, everything is frozen. The entire desert also turned into an ice field in an instant. The sun was still shining brightly in the sky, but above the ice field, Yolandel felt waves of chill, and even the breath she exhaled would condense into ice mist. This chill did not come from her fear, but from the physical cold. She knew that this was a deliberate display of strength by the man in front of her. As the most powerful Valkyrie in Destiny, there was no way she could back down. With the surge of collapse energy in the body, the frozen ice beneath her feet cracked, and she took a few steps forward, showing her will. Snort! Kevin looked at her indifferently and raised his hand to attack. This is knowing her will and recognizing her strength. It's worth taking action. Raise your hand. Countless ice spikes emerged from the ground, attacking towards Yolandel. Hollander's pace became faster and faster, gradually turning into running. While avoiding the ice spikes, she punched Kevin. Kevin waved casually. He blocked this blow and knocked Yolandel away. He knew that this was just a test from Yolandel. Things were just as he thought. After the blow, Hollandel used all the power of the armor, and with the increase in armor, she attacked Kevin again. The power and speed of this punch were far greater than before. Kevin also raised his hand to fight with it. The two of them fought hand-to-hand several times in the air, and each collision would cause the space to vibrate, erupting with astonishing power. Several consecutive moves failed to harm Kevin at all. Yolandel also became completely serious. After knocking Kevin back with one blow, she raised her hands above her head and Honkai energy surged crazily. In the sky, a huge black abyss white flower with a length of more than 100 meters suddenly appeared, and the power it contained was extremely terrifying. There was no doubt that if this blow was allowed to fall, the entire wasteland would be wiped out. Kevin remained calm as usual. With the power in his hand running, he raised his hand and waved it towards the sky. Countless huge jet black ice crystals appeared out of thin air, blocking Yolandel's attack. Yolandel frowned slightly. He used a stronger move again, and the extremely condensed Honkai energy was like a meteorite, hitting Kevin again at a high speed. Kevin took a step forward lightly. On top of the ice sheet, countless ice crystals suddenly seemed to come alive, rapidly multiplying and gathering, turning into a terrifying alien creature that swept towards the collapsing meteorite in the sky. The fluctuations caused by the two people's moves penetrated the screen and shocked the entire Teyvat continent. Even at the beginning of the exposure, this scene was roughly shown. But it was obvious at the beginning that it was deliberately weakened and restrained too much. I really wish everyone could see this battle scene in full. My heart was already filled with fear. Some children had never seen such a battle scene before, and even thought that the end was coming, and they were so frightened that they cried on the spot. Tian Taishui's whole body trembled in fear, and his voice trembled as he said, "Such strength, maybe only the Rock King Emperor can compete with it." Zhongli on the side was so frightened that he dropped his teacup. He even said without caring about his image, "Don't take me with you if you are bragging." Emperor Yan Wang. Perhaps everyone present was shocked. So no one paid much attention to what he said. Zhongli also realized that he was speechless and hurriedly looked at the chat area to relieve himself. As soon as he saw it, he was frightened by Kei Qing's words. Keking, perhaps only the Emperor can defeat this strength. Wendy, you are too naive. Even the Emperor cannot defeat it, am I right? You should run away. Zhongli, although this drunkard is usually unreliable, his words are true. If you look carefully, Kevin did not use weapons during the whole process. He did not use all his strength at all. He was just testing. Wendy, yes, this Kevin's strength is too terrifying. Fortunately, it is just the previous life of the God Lord, otherwise. Nazada, damn. I've always said he is a bad person. He doesn't hold grudges, does he? Ye Shenzi, don't worry, Lin Hao is not someone who cares about such things. Chapter 13. Kamizato Ayaka, Mr. Yigomia, are you telling the truth? But why did the Lord of God freeze the sea water just now? Ye Shenzi, this is actually a little joke I made for him. Zhongli. Wendy. Nazada. Kamizato Ayaka. Zhongli, I advise you not to play with fire. Wendy, although I like to joke, this kind of joke is really not allowed. Nazada, what kind of joke is this? I'll be more careful in the future. Yadi Shenzi, oh don't worry too much, I can guarantee that my god will not hurt you, of course, as long as you don't touch his reverse scale. Dodalaya, what? He actually has a reverse scale. Please tell me what it is. I will tell the fools of Inajima to be careful. Eightfold Divine Son, don't worry, if you really touch his reverse scale, just be careful in the next life. Zhongli. Wendy. Dodalaya. Colleagues of Inajima, I wish you well. Among the people's words, he became even more wary of the rice wife's god. And at the same time, the exposure of the battle on screen was also unexpected. Yolandal, stop. Just when the two attacks were about to hit, the voice of Otto Apocalypse suddenly appeared. Your Majesty Bishop. Yolandal was confused by his appearance, but she obeyed the order and defeated the attack in the sky. Kevin noticed his arrival. With a wave of his hand, the ice crystals broke apart and turned into countless dust, falling lightly to the ground. Leader of the World Serpent, you have fully demonstrated your power. In this case, I must also return the courtesy. I am Otto Apocalypse, the current Bishop of Tianming. Otto put his hand on his chest, bowed slightly to him, and introduced himself. Yolandal fell from the sky. Come to his side and protect his safety. Stay here. Otto left these words and walked towards Kevin step by step. When he came in front of him, golden light enveloped the two of them and gradually floated in the sky. This realm flowing with golden light was created by Void Manzo, which completely isolated the two people from the outside world. In this cage of void, the land of the box garden, two men sit opposite each other. Otto looked at Kevin in front of him. Those cold eyes were empty, with no emotion, memory, or temperature, anything that should be in human eyes. This actually made him a little nostalgic. Since becoming a bishop, he had rarely felt despised by others. But this man in front of me. But he didn't take him, destiny, or everything in this world seriously at all. But Otto still welcomed his arrival. Kevin was also looking at Otto in front of him. He has some understanding of Otto, and he also has some understanding of destiny. But to him, these are not important, he doesn't care at all. If there was anything that could make him care, it might be Otto himself, the thing that made him have this ability, envy. The two of them just faced each other in silence. Otto took the initiative to break the silence, long live the world snake. Kevin still looked at Otto indifferently. Otto smiled and said, ha ha ha, just kidding, use a friendly opening, try to create a harmonious atmosphere for our conversation. Back to business, welcome, the leader of the world snake, I know that one day, I will meet you. I know your name, I understand your identity, and I admire your deeds. You are the ancestor of Kislana's blood, the hero who led the pre-civilized mankind to fight to the end, but at the same time, you are also the Lord of the World Serpent and the executor of the Stigma Project. Kevin Kislana, are you here to declare war on me? Kevin, who had been silent all this time, said, you are wrong, World Snake has no intention of being an enemy of destiny. I am here for only one purpose, I want you to assist the Stigma Project. Otto crossed his arms. Try to be calm and steady in your tone, when you make a request, you have to pay a price. What do you want to give me in exchange for my promise? Kevin was silent. Otto on the opposite side accurately captured this moment of pause. Very good. Until now, Otto himself had controlled the content of the conversation. But next, he must be very careful, very, very careful. It is precisely because he knows Kevin's past that he understands how terrifying he is. Kevin continued, I don't need your promise. Obey or destroy, you only have these two choices. The domineering speech made everyone in Teyvat continent sweat for Otto. Especially the people in the chat area. Faced with such a strong choice. Some of them didn't know how to choose for a while. Nasada, although this Otto is not a good person, I am really worried that Kevin will kill him if he disagrees with him. Zhongli, Otto, this man does have courage. Wendy, isn't it, all the men who destroyed the world are so brave? How else can he choose? Under everyone's curiosity. Otto said, no, 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 this is not a good decision. You know, no matter how powerful you are, this world is still maintained by my destiny. Imagine the worst case scenario, Tianming will use all resources and strength to fight the world snake until the last moment. Yes, Tianming will lose, but you will definitely lose time. You will lose the most precious time. In that case, you will not be able to implement the stigmata plan before the end of the world. You don't want this to happen, do you? I think it's time we have a serious talk. After all, I don't want to start a war with the world serpent. Kevin asked, what is your request? Hearing this question, Otto felt happy. The direction of the conversation was just as I expected, and everything was still under my control. Just when he was proud. What he didn't know was that it was outside the realm of golden light. On top of the dilapidated ruins. Natasha was holding the 7 thunders of purification and paying attention to the 2 negotiators. It's still hard for me to believe that the Lord would decide to cooperate with Tianming. Grey Snake's voice came from the headset. Raven, I understand your confusion. Bishop Tianming is an exquisite egoist. He is proficient in the world, understands people's hearts, and is good at using everything to achieve his own goals. He is the most something not to be traded with. But I guarantee that this transaction will be completed smoothly. It is precisely his egoism that will make the chips in the hands of the Lord have almost infinite value. Chapter 14. Soon, the obstacle of destiny will completely disappear from the snake's path. Raven said, since it is the Lord's order, I will naturally obey it. But you know, there are many people in the organization who are enemies with Tianming. Grey Snake chuckled and said, no matter what you think, look, they are still here. Raven moved the sniper scope and looked in the direction Grey Snake said. Countless familiar figures appeared there. It's rare for world snakes leaders to gather together in one place, right? Raven quickly asked, if the negotiation fails, we will start an all-out war with Tianming here, is this what you mean? Grey Snake didn't answer. Raven also reacted suddenly. With the power of his lord, this golden light naturally cannot block his perception, but Otto. And look at all the world serpent cotters buried around. That's right. She totally got it. Everything in this negotiation is under the control of the Lord from beginning to end. Grey Snake. She wanted confirmation of her thoughts. But the Grey Snake did not answer, but laughed. This is like a devil's evil smile, spreading infinitely towards the deserted ruins. Inside the golden light. Otto still looked confident of winning. I also have my own plan, a plan that must be completed before the end comes. But the collapse is intensifying, at a speed far beyond human imagination. As civilization evolves, civilization's old enemies are also evolving. The irregular collapse phenomenon that is spreading all over the world is a sign of the next invasion of imaginary numbers. 5th, the lawyer is coming soon. You have your mission, and I have my long-cherished wish. But if the Hersker of the end comes, all of this will cease to exist. Time is passing, for you and for me. Rather than being stuck in a meaningless struggle, I think, cooperation is a better choice. The time has come. He had been waiting for this moment. He must succeed. Otto held the chess piece used to decide the victory. I need something that is in your hands but has no value to you. If I get it, my long-cherished wish of 500 years will be realized. In exchange, at that time, Otto Apocalypse will completely disappear from you and the world snake. Kevin knew his intentions. I also understand his long-cherished wish and appeal. But this is a negotiation. He will make this negotiation develop in the most appropriate direction. What do you want? Kevin asked. Otto replied, the second God's key, the key to eternal calamity, 1000 realms, I know its beacon is still in your hands. The God's key obtained by destiny is not complete, and its most important part is 1500 years ago, I was sealed in the quantum sea with you by the Forerunner. Only under the guidance of the beacon can its Zeroth power be fully activated. You want to reach the tree of imaginary numbers. Kevin revealed Otto's true purpose. At this moment, Otto no longer concealed, that's right. Observation is by no means the real purpose of the key to eternal calamity. The purpose of its creation is to reproduce the power of the Hersker of space, to create a path leading to the tree of imaginary numbers. Door. On the other side of the door is the eternal moment, the origin of the end, the birthplace of all truths and laws. It is the destination that I must reach. Kevin's heart was moved. Even if it is as cold as ice, even if the feelings are weak. But in the face of Otto's behavior and his decision, Kevin still couldn't help but envy Otto's will to do whatever it takes for the one he loves. You know the consequences of that. Otto was very indifferent, I know, and you also know, because we both know each other well, this transaction has its value. Give me the beacon, and you will get everything in exchange: peace, resources, and time. Silence. A bottomless silence enveloped the world. All the thoughts in Otto's heart also fell silent. He has already placed his chess piece, and the next step is to wait. Waiting for the man in front of him, waiting for Kevin's answer. Wait, that's a word Otto is all too familiar with. He had waited a long time, and he could wait even longer. But his eyes kept staring at Kevin. The white-haired man seemed to be thinking, but also seemed to be simply waiting, wanting to prolong the silence longer. Finally, Kevin spoke up, when you ask, you pay the price. What are you going to give in exchange for it? Hear this. Otto finally no longer had to endure it. Laughing, haha, very good, very good. Yes, reciprocity. Reciprocity is the cornerstone of everything and the pillar of everything. To complete such a historic cooperation, I must offer sincerity equivalent to it. Power, wealth, knowledge, technology, I know these worldly things are not worth mentioning. The only thing worthy of you is this gift, get it, and you will get a perfect puppet, one that can still be controlled after I leave. The puppet of destiny. Now, I will return the void to you. Kevin didn't reject him. This made Otto even more happy. I am very happy that this meeting has reached the perfect result. Let us complete the handover of the beacon as soon as possible. Do you have any requirements for the time and place? It's up to you to decide. Kevin didn't care at all. Just watching Otto talking excitedly to himself. Perhaps, even Otto himself didn't notice that he was very excited now. Let me think about it. I don't want to wait any longer. I hope it can prove its worth immediately. To activate the second god key, Honkai energy is required, a large amount of Honkai energy. Right now, there is just the right place. But the location is Chungkong City in the Far East. 3 days later, Destiny will transfer the Thousand Realms one vehicle to Chungkong City. As soon as I get the beacon, I will start the first test. After confirming the location, Kevin stopped talking. The moment he stood up, the golden light instantly dissipated. He just left here. Teyvat continent. Nasida, strange, I don't understand why Kevin agreed to cooperate with Otto. He is obviously strong enough to easily destroy Destiny, right? Zhongli, that's true. I feel that the result of this cooperation was deliberately done by Kevin. Wendy, little fox, please ask your god. Ye Shenzi, Kevin is just his previous life, how could he remember it? That's what it says. But Ye Shenzi had some suspicions in his mind. According to the introduction of the system and after reading these exposures, she also knew that all Otto's actions were for Colin. She looked at Lin Hao under the sacred cherry tree beside her. This persistence. This protection. Is it also love? No wonder he would never leave the sacred cherry tree and would be willing to become the god's master. She got it. Lin Hao, are you envious of your past life? Envious of Otto's selfishness? Envy of his ability to pursue the person he loves regardless of everything? Could it be that, you also have someone you like? Could it be that the person you like, is me? Chapter 15. Rao is Lin Hao, whose heart is as still as water and as cold as ice. Hearing this, he was a little surprised, and with a little shock, he asked her in surprise, Son of God, why did you have such an illusion? It would be fine if I misunderstood myself at first. This exposure is continuing, and so much content has been exposed. What exactly caused her to have this misunderstanding? You know, until now, no one even remotely similar to her has appeared. Ye Kamiko looked like she understood. After all, I am the palace secretary of Narukami Taisha Shrine. I can understand that you would approach me like this, but I cannot accept your love for the time being. Etc. Lin Hao didn't want the little fox to continue talking. You think too much. Yet. Ye Shenzi looked suspicious. Carefully recall the look in his eyes when the two met. I always felt that I was right, that look clearly contained deep emotions. Never mind. Maybe this is Tsundere. She shook her head and said helplessly, you should indeed envy Otto. You should be as brave as him to express your love. With such a cold face every day, how do I know if you are sincere? Lin Hao. Lin Hao, you should continue to watch the exposure. Humph. Ye Shenzi snorted softly. It is also the screen that continues to look at the sky. The time has come to the third day after the deal with Otto was concluded. The location is Chongqing City. Raven received a communication from Grey Snake. Hey, it's me. How's it going? Raven replied, everything is normal. The Honkai energy in Chongqing City is about to reach the critical point of explosion, the experiment can start as scheduled. He. Grey Snake sneered. Raven frowned slightly, why are you laughing? Is everything normal? I'm afraid not. I can see all your actions on your own initiative. Humph, did you find out? Grey Snake said helplessly, Natasha, how many times have I emphasized to you? The Hersker of the Sky is a special individual. Any situation of K423 must be left to the Lord's personal judgment and must not be arbitrary. I'm really sorry, you didn't think you could be safe after doing something like that, right? The exposure system is to let the people of Teyvat understand what just happened. It even flashed back to what happened not long ago very thoughtfully in a small window. May and Dr. Tesla finally came here to find Kiana's whereabouts. During the period, May encountered a raven and found Kiana who had fainted here. Raven attempted to kill Kiana because of her own selfish desires, but was finally stopped by May and gave up the idea. Now, facing Grey Snake's question, Raven did not panic, but calmly said, that's hard to say. Grey Snake had a rare doubt, what do you mean? Raven said, you must also have a headache. If Kiana Kislana will always be this half-human, half-Hersker, then what value does she have to the snake? But I found it. The power that the world serpent really needs, the power that allows the Hersker of the Sky to complete its emergence, was found by me. Grey Snake was silent. Then he laughed again, ha, if the facts are as you said, the Lord will definitely fulfill your wish. Communication hung up. The raven couldn't help but let out a long sigh. This Grey Snake is really mysterious. She didn't expect that even her small actions could be caught by the opponent. Did he? She was just about to leave. The communication rang again. This time there was only one sentence, your wish will come true, but the Lord will meet her in person. Raven put away the communication. He started thinking about how to get May to agree to see the Lord. Before long, she had an idea. Chongqing City Safe House. Raven is here to accompany the children, preparing for their departure, and at the same time, waiting for May's arrival. Just as she expected. She didn't have to wait long before the woman arrived. In the room, she vaguely heard Sora and May talking about curry and the like. She opened the door. Walked out. She really likes you. That kid kept talking about saying goodbye to you, and she slipped out when I wasn't paying attention. That's what he said, but with Raven's strength, how could he not notice Sora leaving? Me, I didn't know all this. Instead, ask, where are you sending the children? Raven said, don't show that suspicious expression. Don't worry, it's a very safe place. I've always wanted to take them out, and this time I finally got the chance. Ah, speaking of this, I also want to thank you. She did not continue. Instead, he looked at Mei's current situation. Looking at your depressed look, you must have fully understood Kiana's current situation. I'm not lying, right? Anti-entropy will indeed try its best to treat her, but in the end it will be in vain. What are you going to use to save her, ideals? Hope? Or the feelings between people? Shut up! Mei roared angrily. This anger was not directed at the raven, but more at his own powerlessness. She obviously cherishes Kiana so much, but she can't help her at all and can't change this situation. 3 months at most, Kiana will be eroded by Honkai energy and die. Raven still acted very calmly, I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong, I'm not here to laugh at you, and I'm not interested in fighting with you. I just think, there are some things you might want to know. She deliberately leaned close to Mei's ear. He lowered his voice and said, Thunder Mei, World Snake wants to make a deal with you. Don't you want to save that girl? Destiny can't do it, and reverse entropy can't do it, but World Snake can. What? Mei was completely shocked. If you are interested in my proposal, come back here alone in 2 hours. I have some personal matters to deal with, so I'll excuse you. Raven ignored Mei's shouts. Close the heavy iron door tightly to keep it out. She was sure that this girl would come here again. The fact is just as Raven imagined. Mei, who returned to the spaceship alone, faced deeper despair. She saw Kiana holding on to her broken body, eating bell pepper curry but shouting that the spiciness was just right, and she felt her own weakness and weakness. Nothing can be done to save her. Mei chose to come to the safe house again. And the time is exactly 2 hours. You came. After the raven sent the children away, he sat alone and bored in the corner of the eaves, waiting for her. No more, no less, exactly 2 hours. I like you to be punctual like this. It seems that I don't need to ask any more questions. You are already ready. Come with me. Chapter 16. Raven moved the gate. He took Mei and walked deeper into the shanty town. After walking through the winding alley, the two finally stopped in front of an iron door. Here we are. The Lord is behind this door. He wants to see you alone. I hope you get the answers you want, and good luck. Raven opened the iron door for her and watched her walk in. He closed the iron door again. Now, in the shadows ahead, there seems to be someone's footsteps, walking quietly towards here. Ice cold. The air was freezing with Kevin's arrival. It made Mei feel as if she was in an ancient ice cellar. A sense of oppression came from deep inside her body, making it difficult for her to move. Kevin's appearance gradually became clearer. Finally, he stood in front of Mei. I am Kevin Kislana, the leader of the World Snake. As his calm voice sounded, the feeling of oppression suddenly disappeared. Kevin's eyes were like two holes. The moment I saw Mei Yi, there seemed to be a kind of sadness in the hole, a kind of sadness that could not be erased by time, a kind of sadness that seemed to never be healed. This sadness is very deep. Even completely unnoticeable. But for everyone in Teyvat who was watching the exposure, this subtle sadness was still too obvious. Start with exposure. Kevin's eyes were always cold and indifferent to everything. He is a completely emotionless ice cube, and even, everyone already subconsciously thinks so. But at this moment, they knew they were wrong. Funina, am I right? There was obviously some emotion in Kevin's eyes just now. Nisida, yes, I noticed it too. It seems to be sadness, the sadness hidden deep in my heart. Paimon, crazy. Absolutely crazy. He did an experiment on a city without blinking an eye, and raised his hand to freeze the entire wasteland. Kevin, he actually feels sad? Something's wrong. Wendy, what you are talking about is not the point is that he only showed this expression when he saw Mei Yi. Payman, singer, I understand. Are you saying Mei is actually the god of thunder in his previous life, and Lin Hao became the god of God in Daozhu for the sake of the god of thunder? Ying, it's actually like this. Wendy, little fox, please quickly ask if it is true. Wendy, where is the little fox man? Why don't you speak? Wendy, Ye Shenzi, what are you asking? Come to Inajima and ask the question yourself. Wendy, strange, why is she angry? Wendy, what do you think about this matter? Thunder movie, you must have seen it wrong. Wendy, impossible. Paimon, that's right, he definitely likes you, and he definitely went to Daozhu to pursue you. Nazida, I can't mistake that touch of sadness. Zhongli, maybe you should consider how to face him. Thunder movie, I don't believe in past lives, I only believe in this life. To me, all this is just a dream, and you must not continue to talk nonsense. Under the sacred cherry tree. Ye Shenzi was full of energy at the moment. She was so angry that she even forgot to hide her tail, which already showed signs of exploding hair. Lin Hao. Ye Shenzi listened to Lin Hao's cold tone and looked into the still water eyes. Even though he was right in front of him, he didn't have any other emotions at all. She felt inexplicably angry. You really care about my god? Lin Hao, I didn't. You have. No. Ye Shenzi said angrily, okay, just continue to deny it, and wait a while to expose it again. Let's see how you cover it up. She turned her head away, not wanting to pay attention to this man. Keep looking to the sky. The exposure continues. Kevin looked at Mei and said, Thunder and Lightning Mei, there is someone you want to save, but neither fate nor reverse entropy can fulfill your wish. I promise you that World Snake can save that girl. Mei asked, what are your conditions? She didn't think World Snake would be so kind. However, when she came here, she was ready to give everything. Time passed quietly. Kevin also said, you His words were calm and brief, but they had heavy power, like laws engraved on ancient stone pillars that were difficult to tamper with or disobey. Hear this condition. I was silent. She thought about countless conditions, and also thought about what advantages she had to allow World Snake to help her. But he never thought that the World Snake wanted her. It wasn't just her who was silent. The entire Teyvat continent fell silent for an instant. Ever since it was revealed that Lin Hao's previous life was Kevin, the word Kevin has become a symbol of strength, the strongest man who is ruthless. Some people think that Kevin is a complete villain and a man who is obsessed with evil. Some people also think that Kevin has a secret buried in his heart, and all his actions may be for that secret. But no matter which view, all are absolute recognitions of his strength. Everyone couldn't believe it. Such a powerful man would actually want a woman. And he got this woman by taking advantage of others' danger. What else do you have to say? Seeing this scene, Ye Shenzi could no longer suppress his anger and questioned Lin Hao on the spot. Lin Hao also has a dark look on his face. It can only be said that the picture exposed is indeed too easy to mislead people. He wanted to explain, that's not the case. Humph. Do you think I will believe it? Do you think I'm stupid, or do you think everyone is stupid? Ye Shenzi showed the content of the chat area to Lin Hao. Wendy, Ray movie, you don't have to resist anymore. The facts have been revealed. He just wants you. Funina, wow. How bold. Is this how strong people pursue women? I want to learn too. Nazada, that's it. This is the reason why Lin Hao appears in Dao Wife. Shen He, have learned, you should be direct when pursuing your lover. Zhongli, this is really shocking. Dadalia, it turns out that the god of thunder is the reverse scale of the Lord Rice Wife. I hope the fools of Rice Wife haven't done anything stupid. Thunder movie, is this, could it be, that he really did it for me? Wendy, there is no doubt that he has personally said that he wants you, and he will naturally come here for you in this life. In the pure land of one mind. Looking at the content in the chat area, Lei Qian felt a little unconfident. He muttered, is he really here for me? Is he pursuing eternity in this world, or accepting the unchanging love from past and present lives? Should I go out to see him? Chapter 17. The previous calmness of Lei movie has long disappeared. She kept pacing in this pure land of mind, hesitating between leaving and not leaving. Personally, she would never believe in such illusory things as past and present lives. But the content of this exposure system does not look fake at all. Moreover, the other gods in the chat area all confirmed that Lin Hao came here just for themselves. General, tell me about the Lord God. After some hesitation, she chose to ask General Thunder first. General Raiden answered truthfully, on that day, he suddenly arrived and had a fierce battle with Ye Shenzi. The specific results were not revealed due to Ye Shenzi's deliberate concealment. It was also on that day that he became the Shrine Lord of Narukami Taisha Shrine, and he never left Narukami Taisha Shrine. According to Kyujo Sora's report, his favorite thing on weekdays was to stand under the sacred cherry tree and look at Sakura, looking at Inajima Castle. I don't know much about the rest. These things are no secret in Inajima. Moreover, General Thunder will not pay attention to him. Ask for the description. Ray's movie is even more confusing. Could it be that he really came to find me for me? If so, why didn't he come to me? Can't figure it out. Can't figure it out. General Thunder said, since you don't understand, why don't you continue reading? I think all the results will be answered later. 2. Lei Film decided to wait and see. What if he didn't come here for himself? With this idea in mind, together with General Raiden, she continued to look at the subsequent revelations. Above the sky. On the screen. I also broke the silence. I want to know the specific method, and then see her out of danger. If you can really do it, then I can do whatever you want. She was ready to give it all. Kevin noticed her determination and said, the girl named Kiana is in danger, and the erosion of her core has exceeded the limit she can bear. If you want her to survive, you must immediately separate the excess core from her body. There is only one way, I will let you become the Hairsker of Thunder again. What? This method was beyond Mei Yi's expectation. You are the chosen Hairsker. There is always a door connected to the tree of imaginary numbers left in your body. When the remaining energy of the third collapse is absorbed by that door, you will awaken again and seize the power from Kiana. The power of the thunder-walking Hairsker. The new hairsker core will condense in your body, and the conquest stone will disintegrate and disappear, reducing one core and her symptoms will be relieved. The cold voice struck Mei Yi, reminding her of the strangeness of the past few days. Dr. Tesla's diagnosis, sudden dizziness, and Raven's sudden change of attitude. She suddenly understood everything. As long as I become a hairsker, Kiana can be saved. That's right. Hear Kevin's exact answer. Instead, Mei let out a long sigh of relief and felt completely relieved. Then there is nothing to hesitate. 3 years ago, it was she who took me out of the darkness. Without Kiana, I would not be where I am now. For her, I am happy to return to that darkness. But if I am controlled by Honkai again, I hope you can. Before she could say anything, Kevin said, "Don't worry, that won't happen. If other people say this, Mei will still question." But the person in front of him was the World Snake Lord, Kevin. She naturally believed him. Kevin continued, "What you should really care about is what happens after you become a hairsker?" Mei Yi looked at him doubtfully. Kevin, who had always been cold-spoken, became more talkative when facing her. He even took the trouble to explain to her, "This time, you saved Kiana, but next time, she will still be in danger. She will definitely use the power of the hairsker of the sky again and again, for the people around her, for this world. As long as Honkai exists and as long as hairsker is born, she will definitely step forward and keep pushing herself to the edge of death. Until she sacrifices her life. I've met countless people like her. Even in the face of death and fear, they will still firmly do what they think is right and take the path they believe in." They left and no one came back. Kevin's words were like ice picks, piercing deeply into Mei's heart. She wanted to retort, but couldn't form a word. Because that was the deepest pain in her heart, because that was the fact that she could not change no matter how much she sacrificed. "No. I won't let that happen. You can't stop her, or you wouldn't be here at all." Kevin directly exposed her fantasy, "But you have another choice. You can choose to become a member of the snake." "What did you say?" Mei didn't understand the meaning of this choice, nor did she understand what Kevin meant. But now Kevin surprisingly continued to explain to her, "Soon, the hairskers will follow. The war between humans and Honkai will enter the next stage. You can choose to go with the World Serpent, destroy Honkai, capture the hairsker, and seal their power, so that the hairsker of the sky can no longer increase her power. Only by leaving Kiana's side can you truly protect him from danger. And when the Stigma project is completed, you and her will be able to return to humanity." Boom! A roar interrupted Kevin's words. A beam of light shattered the sky, causing it to fall like glass. The apocalyptic scene made Mei feel scared. What happened? Kevin was as indifferent as ever. "The time has come, the door has been opened, and soon the tree of imaginary numbers will appear in this city. The sleeping Honkai energy will be released from the earth veins, absorb them, and you can become Lei again. Hairsker, buy her more time. But to actually save her life, there's only one way you can go. Whether you want to believe me or the world snake, I will give you time to make a decision. Thunder Mei, Kiana's fate is in your hands. I don't need to convince you, because you know better than me. Her ideals can save the world, but they can't save themselves." Along with Kevin's words, the ground began to shake, and strong winds poured through the gaps. The shaking tall buildings and strong wind pushed Mei Yi to the ground. This moment, she saw that the water was receding. No, it was the buildings that were gathering toward the sky. There was a dull roar in the distance, followed by the roar of an explosion, and then the loud noise of collapse. Finally there is light. The endless white light completely submerged the world in her eyes. Chapter 18. Wendy, it's strange, so strange, it seems like Kevin doesn't like Mei Yi. Nisida, indeed, it seems. Mei and Kiana's relationship is closer. Wendy, did we make a mistake? Thunder movie. Lei movie is completely speechless. Just because of these two guys, especially the obscure Barbados, there are all kinds of nonsense speculations. She almost rushed out of Yuxin Pure Land to find Lin Hao. Fine. Fortunately she is sensible enough. Fortunately, General Thunder is reliable enough. Otherwise it would be a big joke. If there weren't too many people in the chat area, she would have wanted to scold these two guys. When there is a chance, I must give these two people a Wuxiang knife. Just thinking about it. The picture changed again. When this disaster comes, Kevin looked at the hollow in the sky, his thoughts suddenly uncontrollable, and he recalled what happened in the past. That was, when I was still on campus. On the bench. Her voice emerged. That night, I walked to the window by chance and looked up at the stars. I suddenly had a strange feeling, as if I was not looking up at the stars, but the stars were looking down at me. Under the vast Milky Way, I am so small, and humans are so small. Everything around me becomes insignificant at that moment. At that time, I immediately had an idea. I believe that every star in the sky is our enemy. There was no human figure in the exposed picture, only the sound came out. As her words ended, the picture also unfolded like a memory. It was a familiar white-haired boy and a mysterious long-haired girl. This white-haired boy is naturally Kevin. Every star is an enemy. He scratched his head, obviously not understanding the meaning. The girl replied, yes. In the physics textbook, there is a photo of the Earth taken by the space station probe from 6.4 billion kilometers. Kevin suddenly remembered, I remember. There was nothing in the picture. After searching for a long time, I saw a small blue dot. The girl said, that's the Earth. The planet we were born and grew up on, which has existed for 4.6 billion years, is just a tiny point of light in the vast universe. Thousands of years of human history, billions of lives, countless knowledge and culture are not worth mentioning on the scale of the universe. I often think about how much meaning a person can have in such a vast universe. Ha 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 ha. Kevin burst into laughter. This laughter made the girl wonder. It even made everyone in Teyvat continent confused. Paimon, hey. Did I hear you correctly? It was Kevin's laughter just now. Wendy, it's unbelievable, he can laugh. Nasida, isn't it because I was dazzled by being locked up for a long time? Did Kevin laugh just now? Ye Shenzi, this is Kevin? Impossible. How can Kevin laugh? Ying, I did laugh. Kamizato Ayaka, this must be fake. I can't imagine the Lord of God smiling, let alone Kevin smiling. Paimon, that's right, it feels like Zhongli suddenly burst into laughter. Dadalia, that's a good description, don't describe it next time. Ganyu, I can't look directly at this scene. Hudao, hey? It sounds very interesting. Zhongli kecking, let's see how you laugh. Zhongli, compared to this, I think the girl next to him is more mysterious. Who can make Kevin smile so relaxedly and comfortably? Zhenjun Liu Yunjifeng, of course we are the closest people, just like we were back then. Wendy, the closest person? Isn't that the previous life of Lay Movies May? Saw news about Wendy. Lay Movie snorted, and quickly edited a paragraph with his consciousness. I said, Kevin doesn't like Mei Yi, and Lin Hao doesn't like me. She was getting ready to send it out. I saw the perspective screen in the sky rotating with Kevin. It fell on the girl. She looks exactly like Mei, and she looks exactly like her in the movie. She is the pre-civilized Mei. Lay Movie decisively deleted the message it had just prepared to send. He couldn't help but mutter, it's really me he likes. The chat area was even more explosive. Wendy, sure enough. My feeling is indeed right, Kevin likes her. Nazida, it's actually true. No wonder Kevin became chatty after seeing Mei Yi and said he didn't like her. Zhongli, it must be that Kevin saw the same looking Mei Yi and recalled the stories he had with the girl. Wendy, it's real. Lin Hao is here for you. Thunder Movie, this matter cannot be determined yet. Wendy, it's not certain yet, it's just a kiss. Thunder Movie, Wendy, where are you? I'm here to buy you a drink. Wendy, when you get married to Lin Hao, I will come and ask for a drink. Zhongli, drunkard, if you are hacked to death one day, I will collect your body. Dadalia, you are so bold. She is the inverse scale of the God Lord. You are not afraid that the God Lord will peek at the screen again and educate you directly after the exposure is over. Wendy, maybe, they are not lovers. Wendy also realized that she had made a joke. Thinking of Lin Hao's strength, I couldn't help but feel chills running down my back. Look to the sky with hope. In the screen. Kevin said with a smile, no, I just find it very novel. In the past, when I dated other girls, when it came to the stars, the next conversation would be about zodiac signs, blood types, and other topics. This is the first time I've met a girl who can talk about the universe and human beings from the stars. It's you as expected. Mei was silent. Kevin hurriedly explained, I mean, you are very unique and different. Please continue talking. The topic just now is quite interesting and I still want to hear it. Mei said, I've finished speaking, but you haven't answered my question yet. Oh, right. Well, let me think about it. Kevin at this time is completely different from the Kevin in everyone's impression. He is just a lively and cheerful big boy. As you said, the universe is very big and the earth is too small. Maybe for this starry sky, everything we care about is meaningless. That's true, Mei affirmed. Kevin couldn't help but feel disappointed. What a heavy conclusion. Seeing his loss, Mei immediately said, but despite this, I, you, and everyone in this world are still living meaningfully. We live, we exist, make every choice in life, and seize every moment in the present. Human beings originally had no meaning, but we gave them meaning. Kevin stared at Mei's delicate face. Chapter 19. He sighed from the bottom of his heart, now you are like a philosopher again. Mei said, science and philosophy have something in common on the nature of the universe. As she said that, she just looked at Kevin. The two looked at each other. I'm curious about something. What's the matter? Mei replied, you don't seem like someone who would be interested in this topic at all, but you have been hearing what I said until now. Do you really think this conversation is valuable? I hope you can tell me honestly. You ask me if it's valuable, I can't answer it. Kevin scratched his head a little embarrassed, because I can only understand half of what you said, maybe less than half. But, the way you talk about these things seriously is really attractive to me. So, I want to continue listening. Mei was surprised, is it just for this reason? Right. Why? Mei was even more confused. Kevin himself didn't know. I don't know either. Rather, I want to know too. I will learn from you and work hard to think about the answer to this question. Pfft. Hee. Mei looked at him and couldn't help laughing. Kevin was also beaming, you finally smiled. You look beautiful when you smile. Watching the two of them laughing and talking sweetly on the bench. But the people in Teyvat continent all look weird. If they have never seen the strength of ancestor Kevin, they have never seen Kevin who is like ice. Maybe you can still accept this kind of picture. But now, it's completely impossible to look straight at it. Nezada even beat her chest, Kevin? Are you telling me this is Kevin? How does this not look like the perfect villain in my mind, Kevin, only? Whether they accept it or not. The exposure will not stop. Mei looked at Kevin affectionately and continued to tell him, this summer, I am going to Mudala to attend an academic seminar. Many famous physics professors and scholars will be present. I plan to communicate with them and explore my ideas. Maybe it sounds a little arrogant, but I want to meet people who can change the world, and I want to be one of them. I want to see how far I can go under the stars. Kevin clenched his fists and made a come on gesture, come on. I believe that one day, you will realize everything you said today. How about you? Mei looked at him, wanting to know what he was thinking, classmate Kevin, do you have any plans for the future? Kevin answered very frankly, no, not at all. He leaned back on the chair and looked at the sunset in front of him, I don't have as lofty ideals as you. Changing the world or something is too far away for me. I just want to live the life in front of me, cherish every friend, and enjoy every moment. Live happily and live freely. Mei became even more confused, you don't think about the future at all. Kevin waved his hand, I don't want to think about it. The world is so big, there is always a place that welcomes me, and there is always something waiting for me to do. But if I just look ahead blindly, I will miss the people standing next to me. After all, I'm still a high school student. Living a more innocent and happy life is like me. Mei said with a smile, what a frivolous person, but I hope you can realize your wish. Kevin nodded vigorously, well, I hope our wishes will come true. Ah, by the way. Why don't I go to Mu continent with you this summer? The memory stopped abruptly. Kevin opened his eyes and looked at Chongqing City, which was integrated with light. Glimpse of light, like blood flowing to the heart. The end of the light wheel reflects the infinite sea of stars and the infinite world. At this moment, in every ray of light, someone dies and someone is reborn. Every one of them, everyone they met, everyone they loved. The sorrow and laughter they experienced, the blood and tears they shed, the vows they made, the promises they failed to complete, the victory and failure of creation, existence, and disappearance. The entire history of mankind, all the inheritance of mankind. Proof of what makes people human. They are all insignificant leaves in this light. Kevin didn't know why he suddenly had so many thoughts. I don't understand why I suddenly think of her in the past scenes, only. His gaze fell on the girl uncontrollably. Her back and appearance were exactly the same as May's. The firmness with which she made up her mind was the same as May's. But Kevin knows. She is not May. He was looking at her back now, not because he thought of May, but, he wanted to see her choice, wanted to see her choice. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The sound of rain gradually became louder, gradually covering up the sound of Mei Yi's leaving footsteps. Teyvat continent. Wendy was silent. At this point, how could he not see that Kevin was deeply in love with Mei? Even though the relationship between the two is not clear in the exposed content. However, his understanding of Kevin can only make him have such thoughts and recall the past, right? It can only be the woman he loves deeply, right? He hurriedly spoke in the chat area. Wendy, I did say something I shouldn't have said. Kevin, he loves Mei deeply. Zhongli, drunkard, it's good that you know. Wendy, hey Zhongli. Nazada, who compared to the Kevin in my memories, I am more accustomed to the Kevin now. Kamizato Ayaka, yes, the Kevin in the memories is so ridiculous that he doesn't look like a human being at all. That's what it says. When a few people express these opinions, when more people express this idea to others. As the exposure continues. When Kevin, who was as cold as thousand-year-old ice, appeared, they all felt a strange feeling in their hearts. A certain seed called question is gradually growing in everyone's hearts. They deliberately ignored this seed. Continue to watch the exposure. The perspective of the picture is Kevin's perspective. He watched Mei Yi from a distance after leaving. Seeing her safely rejoining Kiana. Kiana? Why are you here? She noticed the wounds on Kiana's body. Ah, the injuries on your body, how could you leave Helios casually? Kiana said angrily, that's why I want to ask you this question. When did you run out? Suddenly everyone can't find you. Do you know how worried I am? She gasped and continued, let's not talk about this anymore. The enemy will appear again from time to time. You should go back and join the doctor. Go back. Mei looked at Kiana who was covered in scars, then what should you do? Chapter 20. I still have things to do. Kiana looked towards the sky, the light pillar was still washing away the halo in the sky. That pillar of light, I have seen this scene before. Using the power of the hairsker of the sky, I can close the big hole in the sky and solve the source of this storm. What? Mei's eyes widened and she immediately stopped her. No, no. Your injuries have not recovered, you can't continue fighting. Kiana returned her gaze to Mei and stared into her eyes. The tone was decisive. Mei, I can't leave it alone. Monsters are still appearing, and Honkai energy is also gathering. This disaster will soon spread to other places. I have to stop it. Stop being willful. Mei Yi took a step forward and grabbed her. Don't you still understand your situation? If you do such a dangerous thing, your body will. That's not important. Kiana interrupted her directly, I know everything about my own affairs and my body's affairs. To be honest, I am also very scared. When I think about the possibility of death, my body can't help but tremble. But I can't run away because of fear. I have to do what I can do and shoulder my responsibilities. Only in this way can I face those people who were hurt by me, face myself, face it, teacher Jitsi. A familiar smile appeared on her face. Mei Yi, don't worry, I'm very powerful. Just wait for my return. A strong wind blew. She ignored Mei Yi's obstruction and her tearful pleas. Jumping on the dragon's back, the lonely figure crossed the violent storm and flew towards the golden wheel in the distance. Quantum shadows all over the sky attacked that figure. At the moment of each collision, a golden flash of light cuts through the sky. Mei knew that every ray of light was Kiana's burning life. She screamed and begged desperately. I want Kiana to stop fighting. But the biting wind muffled her voice, and the violent showers completely covered her figure. Not far away. Kevin stared at her silently. Raven is also standing by Kevin's side. A trace of unbearability flashed in his eyes. Lord. Kevin didn't respond. She had no choice but to swallow what she wanted to say. He said silently in his heart, whether you can pass the test of the World Serpent and complete the emergence, it all depends on you. The scene in Chongkong City was extremely chaotic. Kiana rushed to the sky and did not fight for long before she was hit by a weapon flying out of the space door. She fell straight down like a bird with broken wings. Mei Yi ran desperately towards the place where she fell. Only, with her current strength, she is no match for that imaginary creature. The fight lasted only a moment. It's already at a disadvantage. Belarus used his last consciousness to resist the fatal blow for her. Pain, shame, unwillingness. All kinds of emotions came over me. Countless Honkai energy converged towards Mei Yi's body. Her consciousness had fallen into darkness. Crybaby, long time no see. A beam of light and a voice rippled through the darkness. Purple appeared in the darkness, and the purple trickle lingered, pushed, hugged every corner of her body, and brought her to the light. You have changed a lot. The sound sounded in the far-away distance and disappeared in the very close ears. The voice was cold and dangerous. That voice is familiar and nostalgic. This is the first time that you have taken the initiative to come to me. Aren't you scared anymore? Fear? I also felt very strange, and in her heart, she no longer felt afraid. There was also unwillingness, self-blame, sadness, pain, all the emotions disappeared. Calm. There was only peace left in my heart. Keep going and you'll fall deeper into hell. I just said calmly in her heart, it doesn't matter, I can leave hell for her. You will say goodbye to everything you have now, say goodbye to your companions, and say goodbye to your family. It doesn't matter, I'm used to being alone. You will endure doubts and criticisms, and you will go further and further down the road of loneliness. It doesn't matter, that's the fate I should have faced long ago. You will leave her forever. Only here she hesitated. You can never go back to her, look at her smile, hold her hand. Once you take this step, you can never look back. You, really want to do this? It doesn't matter. Everyone is here, everyone, will take good care of her, let me do what I have to do. I have decided. Go. Bury me with your hands, and turn my anger, my sorrow, and my disappearance into the strength for you to move forward alone. Go to the whole world and announce the return of the Thunder Queen. Go and become the true Hersker of Thunder. Goodbye, Raiden Mei. Boom. A bolt of thunder penetrated the sky, shattered the space, and completely lit up the entire city. In that thunder, Mei has become a true Hersker of Thunder. She used terrifying power to kill the imaginary creature in an instant. Turn the dead Belals into Kurigara, ride on it, and fly to the sky. Boom. Every time Kurigara sprinted, he was accompanied by the sound of terrifying thunderstorms, and at the same time, countless quantum creatures fell from the sky. Boom. The thunder exploded again. It was Thunder Mei Yi. She stood on Kurigara's back, pulled out her sword, and the 100-meter-long thunder sword energy burst out, annihilating all enemies in front of her. The remaining quantum monsters will not even have a chance to escape. In a few breaths, they were completely slaughtered. Looking at this scene, some people sighed and sighed. Nisida, it's such a cruel world to turn such a gentle girl into such a state, and what a cruel Kevin. Why must she become a Hersker when we can obviously find other ways to help her? Ganyu, Mei Yi, will she never come back? Keking, I still like that gentle girl. Ye Shenzi, it would be great if my god was as gentle as her. I also hope she can do it for me. There are also people who are excited and excited. The depression, frustration, anger, and unwillingness in Kyujo Shura's heart were all completely released. She quickly sent a message in the chat area, as expected of Lord Thunder God's previous life, this is how it should be this way long ago, roar. Kill. Let the world know your true power. Others were equally shocked by her power. Kamizato Ayaka, is this the power that Lord Thunder God had in his previous life? Such terrifying power of thunder. Zhongli, compared to today's Thunder movies, her power in her previous life seems to be more powerful. Thunder movie, of course, I wasn't weak in my previous life. Wendy, hey? As long as you become a Hersker, can you have such a powerful power? Funina, if I become the Hersker, can I defeat her? Wendy, I advise you not to have such thoughts. Zhongli, generally speaking, none of us can become law masters, and Lin Hao's previous life has nothing to do with us. Funina, but, what if we can become Herskers? Zhongli. Wendy, then you'd better ask the God Lord, only he can help you. Chapter 21. Fontaine. Funina ran out of the room and climbed up the stairs to the top. Her eyes were always looking at the scene above the sky. Always looking at the echoed Mei Yi, watching her slaughter everything and destroy all enemies. This powerful power made her yearn for it. Obviously before this, Mei Yi was so weak and so helpless in the face of powerful power, but after becoming the Hersker of Thunder, she gained such terrifying power. If I could be like her. If I can become the Hersker and have this kind of strength, can I also save everyone, and become a true water god? Funina was extremely envious and yearned for him. She has even imagined herself becoming the Hersker of water, using the power of fluids to protect the people of Fontaine, fight against the laws of nature, and become a true water god. Lin Hao, since Kevin is your previous life, you must also know how to turn people into Herskers. She muttered, making up her mind to go see that man when the exposure was over. It's not just her. The entire continent of Teyvat. Countless people pursue power, countless people thirst for power. Everyone was shocked by this picture. Mei's weakness and inability to do anything are obvious to all. But, just becoming a Hersker gave her such terrifying power. This inevitably makes people want to become a lawyer. Among them, of course it also includes the fools. Beelzebul, Hersker of Thunder, Lin Hao, I'm here to find you. Narukami Taisha Shrine. After Yigamiko finished expressing his feelings in the chat area, he asked the man next to him, Lin Hao, what are you going to do now? What? Now, in your previous life, you were able to help people awaken as Herskers and gain power far beyond that of gods, so you will naturally be targeted now. If my guess is correct, Inazuma's fools are already ready to make a move. Lin Hao replied domineeringly, then let them not move? Ye Shenzi looked at him curiously. Don't know what he wants to do. Next moment, the terrifying aura erupted from his body. In an instant, it feels like falling into the abyss of the nine netherworld, cold, fear, trembling. The entire space seemed to be frozen. Stop! Ye Shenzi quickly stopped him, you are crazy. Inazuma has many ordinary people. Lin Hao said calmly, it doesn't matter, I won't hurt ordinary people, I just give a little warning to those with bad intentions. Warn. Ye Shenzi was about to complain about him. I saw dozens of messages suddenly added to the chat area. Zhongli, what happened just now? What is that terrifying aura? Wendy, hey. No one is really going to provoke the Lord of God, right? Paimon, it must be those fools. Dadalia, it's not me. I'm not that stupid yet. Ying, you'd better ask. After all, there are many fools who don't know whether to live or die. If you are involved, Dadalia, I will contact you right away. Wendy, it's time to sneak around. Did you also feel that powerful aura in Liu? Zhongli, yes, that power far exceeds that of gods, but, it should be just a warning. Funina, really? Are you far beyond the gods? I want to see Lin Hao. Navile, Lady Funina, please give up this unrealistic idea immediately. His power is very terrifying. Dadalia, I just contacted. The fools in Inazuma are indeed ready to take action, but now, many people are so scared that they peed their pants. This momentum seems to be aimed at them. Zhongli, while targeting the fools, do you also want to warn everyone? Wendy, little fox, please hurry up and call Thunder Movie out, comfort him, and don't let him mess around. Thunder Movie, drunkard. Do you want to die? Ye Kamiko finished reading the chat group. Then look at Lin Hao next to you. The shock in my heart can no longer be described. Just releasing a little momentum to shock the 7 countries? Look at the Hersker of Thunder in the sky again. The Hersker of Thunder is nothing compared to this man. Fortunately, this man has a commitment to himself. She wasn't worried at all that he would hurt her. So he showed a sly smile and joked, since you are here as a wife, why not turn my god into a gentle and lovely lady like me in my previous life who can also cook rice? Sneeze. Thunder Movie in Yuxin Pure Land suddenly sneezed. But she didn't care. Just continuing to watch the exposure, she felt the power of the Hersker of Thunder. But the exposure scene returned to the roof of Kyunyu Academy again. Kevin witnessed Mei Yi's emergence here. Lying beside him was an unconscious girl, who was Kiana, who fell from the sky not long ago. Kiana gradually woke up from her coma. Hey? This is Kyunyu Academy. After she woke up and looked at the things around her, everything felt familiar to her. Why am I here? Don't move. Kevin warned. But the sound startled Kiana, especially when she looked along the sound. You are, Kevin Kislana. Kevin knew her doubts. You wanted to close the imaginary number singularity, but you were attacked by the imaginary number creation and fell down. Although I caught you, your injuries were still serious. The hairsker of the sky's power has become weaker. In this way, you will have more time. Kiana was even more confused. You saved me, why? Kevin was silent for a moment, as if thinking about how to answer. After a while, he then said, Thank you Raiden Mei, she saved you. You don't have to worry about Chongkong City anymore, the disaster is over. She protected this city on your behalf. What did you say, Mei? Faced with her doubts, Kevin didn't want to explain too much. Let her explain what happens next to you in person. She's here. Along with his voice, a bolt of thunder suddenly fell from the sky. In that thunder, the figure of Liden Mei suddenly appeared. Mei. Seeing her like this, Kiana seemed to recognize her. What happened? What's going on with you looking like that? Mei didn't answer. Instead, he walked up to Kevin and said, I will follow you. Kevin nodded with satisfaction. Very good. Liden Mei, welcome to join World Snake. Wait a moment. Kiana interrupted the two of them and asked, What did you say? Mei, you want to join the World Snake? She refused to accept such a thing. Mei Yi, what happened to you? What did he do to you? Mei Yi said in a calm tone, Kiana, I'm sober now. This is my own decision, don't worry about me. Chapter 22. Why? Kiana didn't understand. She couldn't figure it out. Mei Yi was fine not long ago. Don't be ridiculous, I won't agree. I won't let you go to World Snake. Kevin stood next to the two. His eyes swept over the two of them. It seems that you still have some things to solve. Tell her everything you want to say, but don't waste too much time. Mei was silent. Want to say something? If I tell Kiana those reasons, will she be understood and be able to leave with peace of mind? No. That would only make her blame herself more and suffer more. What I want to say has been said in my heart countless times. Kiana, I am very happy to meet you, to experience so many stories and create so many memories with you. Go and do what you want to do and realize your ideals. Let me go to the darkness, and you will return to the light. Mei said what she wanted to say in her heart. Kevin confirmed her decision from her eyes. Thunder Mei, welcome to the world here, go and say your final farewell to her. Drop this sentence. Kevin ducked. Appeared on a tall building 100 meters away. Here, the grey snake and the raven were waiting early. Lord. When the two saw Kevin, they said hello. Kevin did not respond, but stood here, watching the decision of Mei and Kiana in the distance. In this atmosphere, Raven also felt tremendous pressure. If the Lord is not here, she can guess the outcome with Grey Snake. But now, she could only look at Kevin silently and murmured in her heart, Thunder and Lightning Mei, I believe you will not let me down, nor will you let World Snake down. The exposed scene was also displayed in front of everyone in the Teyvat continent from Kevin's perspective. Compared to Kiana, everyone is more interested in Mei. After all, that was Inajima Raigen's previous life, although it was just a guess. In the screen, Kiana asked emotionally, Mei, why? You clearly know everything they did. What happened in Tianqing City is still vivid in her mind. To her, the world snake is more indifferent to human life than destiny. I do not care. Mei Yi's tone became more determined. This also completely stimulated Kiana, you idiot. I won't let you go. Even with force, she must stay. This moment, what started as lip-talking persuasion turned into a battle between the two. Kiana dragged her injured body and kept attacking, trying to defeat Mei. Even in this way, as long as she could stay, it didn't matter. Only today's Mei is no longer the weak and powerless person she was before. After dodging several attacks, he found an opening and pinched Kiana's neck. That's it, Kiana. With a slight exertion of her hand, thunder and lightning invaded Kiana's body in an instant. Under her deliberate control, this power would only make her faint. Wait until she loses consciousness. Mei Yi turned around and prepared to leave. I will never let you go. Kiana, who was supposed to be in a coma, suddenly burst out with powerful Honkai energy, which was the power of the hairsker of the sky. Mei frowned and her heart trembled. Kiana, you should not use that power anymore. Kiana didn't care at all. In order to keep her, she rushed toward Mei Yi again, and a subspace spear appeared out of thin air in her hand. This only made Mei Yi even more angry. The long sword in her hand was not unsheathed, but with the explosion of thunder, she came to Kiana in an instant, and the sheath in her hand hit Kiana hard on the abdomen. The severe pain, accompanied by the power of thunder and lightning, caused the subspace spear she had just condensed to instantly collapse. The whole person lay helplessly on the ground. Consciousness began to collapse. No. I will not fall. I won't let you go. Kiana held on, struggled, and got up from the ground again. Even though her consciousness was about to faint and her body could barely stand up, she still staggered towards Mei Yi. Mei Yi frowned deeper. But the weapon in his hand has also disappeared. Her right hand turned into a hand knife and she took the initiative to attack. With her current strength, it was just 2 hand swords. Then Kiana was knocked away again. The intensity now should be enough to knock him out. Think so. She was ready to leave. Sudden. Several subspace spears blocked her movement, and one of them was pointed directly at her throat. Watch her use this power regardless. It's always like this. You've always been like this. Even though you're covered in wounds, you still have to force yourself to smile. You saved me and everyone, but you have to bear all the pain alone, and even pay for it with your life. Mei. Kiana stopped her from continuing. This is my mission. There's that word again. Mei could no longer suppress the anger in her heart. The power of the hairsker of thunder in the body completely exploded. I understand the great truth of saving the world, but how do you want me to endure all this? The power of thunder and lightning spread violently in all directions, and several thunderbolts fell from the sky. I only know that in my heart, compared to this world, you are more important. Boom. The last huge thunderbolt fell on Mei Yi. The subspace spears that restricted her were all shattered, and she showed her strongest power. Don't want. Kiana still wants to stop it. But Mei Yi didn't give her a chance at all. After dodging countless subspace spears, Mei Yi had already reached the sky. Along with her drawing the sword. The thunder sword energy shattered countless spears, shattered the space, and completely chopped them down. Countless thunderbolts, just like Mei Yi's mood, enveloped the entire Chongqing city. Let's go. Kevin, who had been watching all this, suddenly said, it's over. His tone was still cold, without any emotion, as if none of this had anything to do with him. In an instant, he disappeared into Chongqing City. Teyvat continent. In the chat area. Nasida, I'm so angry. Does this Kevin have feelings? Shen He, his emotions were also suppressed by the red rope. Kamizato Ayaka, I don't understand either. Why did the God Lord insist on Mei joining the World Snake in his previous life? Nasida, yes. That's it. He didn't hesitate to break up Mei and Kiana, and tried every means to get Mei to join the World Serpent. There must be some ulterior secret. Paimon, I understand this, just think about it, if you meet a woman who looks exactly like the one you love, you will definitely do whatever it takes to keep her by your side. Ganyu, so that's the reason. Chapter 23. Ying, judging from the current situation, Kevin can only do it because of this reason. Keking, Kiana and Mei have such a good relationship, but they have to be separated in this way. It's really uncomfortable. Nasida, it's not all because of Kevin. He is indeed the villain, a cold-blooded and ruthless man. Ying, he is indeed a little paranoid. Ganyu, can this method really win Mei Yi's heart? Funina, is it possible that he doesn't like Mei Yi? Nasida, impossible. Ying, impossible. Paimon, no matter how you look at it, this is the only reason, right? Focus on the Pure Land. Lei Movie looked at the contents of the chat area. His brows were furrowed. She couldn't see through Kevin anymore. From the beginning of the exposure, he stood behind the scenes and used the entire city as a testing ground, and now he has let Mei break up with Kiana and join the World Snake. What does he want to do? Is it really just to get Mei? Wrong. Things shouldn't be that simple. If it was really just for such a simple purpose, he wouldn't be so indifferent after seeing the results. Can't figure it out. She posted her speculation in the chat area. Nasada, just get used to it. Isn't he always so cold-blooded and so evil? Thunder movie, but he wasn't like this before. A short sentence. Instantly, everyone in the chat area recalled the scene not long ago. That was the picture of Kevin and May, that was when he was still laughing and cheerful. Nasada, even gods will wear out. He is just a human being, and it is normal for him to change. Thunder movie, then what made him change? Nasada. The entire chat area fell into silence. This problem has been deeply buried in everyone's minds long ago. It's just, everyone has always ignored this issue. Now as the issue gradually sprouts and is mentioned again, everyone is gradually thinking about it. But the exposure did not give them time to think. The picture changed again. Somewhere in the world serpent space. Since the incident in Chongqing City, Kevin has not seen Mei Yi again. But he always pays attention to the other party's developments. The same is true now. Lord Jackal reported to Kevin as usual, the Honkai energy in Raiden Mei's body has stabilized. As predicted, she can completely control that power and complete the true echoing. Kevin just made a small sound. If it hadn't been for the extreme silence in the hall, perhaps no one would have known that he had responded. It was as if he was indifferent to all of this. Jackals are used to it. She just continued to report, K423. After Kiana was recovered by the Far East branch, there were no abnormalities, but she still failed to complete her ekloth. According to the observation of the imaginary number singularity, the next large-scale collapse is coming soon. During this collapse, a new hairsker will be born. Do you want to use this opportunity to test Raiden Mei's qualifications? When hearing the word qualification, Kevin finally had some reaction. Let her go. Yes, Lord. Jackal exited the hall and left this dark corridor. Diao came to the venue where Raiden Mei was training, and happened to see Raiden Mei just finishing training. Bang bang bang. Oh, what a great effort, hairsker of thunder. When Mei heard the sound, she knew it was a jackal. His tone was as cold as Kevin's. I told you, don't disturb me. Even though the tone is still cold. But Jackal's attitude is completely different. Don't be so cold. Now that we are companions, we need to get along well. I really want to get to know you better. Jackal, don't waste your time. The raven appeared out of nowhere and stood between the two. Let's get down to business. When she learned that Jackal came to find Mei Yi, she already knew the Lord's decision. Jackal sighed, it's so boring putting away her emotions, she said seriously, Thunder Mei, it's time to contribute your strength to the world snake. The next large-scale Honkai impact is coming soon. It will bring the world snake the cornerstone to achieve its goals. The most powerful creature conceived. Yes, Raiden Mei, a hairsker like you. Mei just looked at her indifferently. She didn't have the slightest fondness for this jackal. Jackal continued, in short, an important part of the stigmata plan is to obtain all the hairskers. Now the Lord has something important to do and is unable to command in person. This is our opportunity to show our loyalty, become the Lord's solid backing, and ensure the implementation of the stigma plan. Compared to Jackal's, Raven's statement was more serious. Thunder Mei, your power is an indispensable weapon for the world snake. Therefore, we need to work together to deal with the coming collapse. Mei said coldly, I will fulfill my promise, but we are just using each other. Don't treat me as a companion. Raven was not to be outdone. I am a mercenary and I never treat others as companions. Mei didn't argue on this kind of thing either, so, just destroy the hairsker. No. Jackal said, a dead hairsker is meaningless. What the world snake needs is a stagnant hairsker. She took out the wand of underworld and handed it to Mei Yi. What's it for? Mei asked. Jackal did not explain, but said mysteriously, haha, you will know. At this moment, the three of them also received news of the Honkai outbreak. Mei immediately started action with Raven. See here. Paman couldn't help it. He said to the girl next to him, ah. How annoying. What does Kevin mean by this? Does he like Mei Yi? He tried so hard to bring her back to the world snake, but in the end he just left her alone. Being teased by this dog-headed woman. Ying also didn't understand Kevin's intentions. He took out the sweet flour stuffed chicken he had just packed from his backpack, and tore off a chicken leg and gave it to Paimon. Said, It's really strange. This jackal respects Kevin so much. If he really likes Mei, she will definitely respect Mei too, right? Peiman gnawed on the chicken leg and stamped his feet. That's right, that's right. Now it seems like Kevin treats Mei Yi as a thug. What on earth does he want to do? The more I think about it, I still can't figure it out. The more he couldn't figure it out, the more uncomfortable Peiman became. Even the sweet and flour-stuffed chicken had no taste. No, I can't help it anymore, I want to ask in the chat area. With that, she ran to the chat area and made her own guess. It's not just her. In fact, many people in Teyvat continent are confused. Various speculations also appeared in the chat area. But there is no convincing answer. Until she appears. Xiangling, I just asked Sister Ying'er, and she said, men don't cherish what they get. Chapter 24. See Xiangling's words. Many people were stunned. However, more people, at least most men, do not agree with this statement. And they felt that Kevin was not such a frivolous person about feelings. Such discussions did not last long. On the screen. After Jackal confirms that Mei and Raven are leaving. He immediately reported the matter to Kevin. Lord, the Hairsker of Thunder, Thunder and Lightning Mei Yi has already set off. In the dark hall. On the lonely throne. Kevin gently uttered a few words, the Hairsker of Thunder. Along with his cold voice, scenes from the past also appeared in front of him and appeared in front of everyone in the Teyvat continent. That was a pre-civilized time. That was, what happened between Kevin and Mei at Kyunyu Academy. Boom. The sound of thunder broke the tranquility of the campus, and the violent electromagnetic field destroyed all electronic equipment in Chongqing City. The Hairsker has arrived. The whole city was in panic. Honkai beasts, death warriors, swept the entire city. Screams, shouts, and cries came from all directions. This was the first time he had seen disaster. Mei. Don't be afraid, I will protect you, follow me. Kevin found Mei in the chaos, holding a baseball bat in one hand and holding Mei with the other, leading her to run desperately outside Chongqing City. After walking through several streets and avoiding the crowds, their path was blocked by a man in black. Kevin immediately protected Mei behind him and held the baseball bat in front of him, ready to attack at any time. Relax, I mean no harm to you. I'm here just to invite Ms. Mei to join the fire-chasing moth. As they spoke, their retreat was already blocked by the Honkai beast. Careful. Kevin reminded hurriedly. A smile appeared on the corner of the man in black's mouth. With a slight wave of his hand, a bullet was shot from a high-rise building in the distance. It exploded when it hit the Honkai beast, instantly destroying the Honkai beast. We, the Fire Chaser, are an anti-Honkai organization affiliated with the United Nations. Since you published your paper on quantum mechanics half a year ago, we have been paying attention to you and would like to ask you to join the organization as a scientist. Mei, who was guarded by Kevin, immediately asked, Honkai? Do you mean this disaster? Yes, this is not the first collapse. To save humanity and change the world, we need your power. The man in black's attitude was very sincere. After Mei witnessed the collapse disaster with her own eyes, she agreed to his invitation. Kevin looked at Mei and looked away from him. Go to a place you can no longer reach. He immediately shouted, please let me join in. The man in black set his eyes on him. Although he did not receive an order to invite Kevin to join, before coming here, he saw Kevin's heroic performance in the face of Honkai and saw him fight off a Honkai beast with a baseball bat. Plus, you can tell at a glance that he and Mei are a couple. The man in black promised, if you are willing to serve as a soldier, I will help you write the application. I do. Kevin agreed without any hesitation. Let's go, the real collapse is about to come. Before that, we need to evacuate as soon as possible. The man in black took the two people away from Chongqing City. After this collapse disaster ended with the destruction of Chongqing City and Shanghai City. Kevin also took this opportunity to come to Fire Chaser and achieved first place in the first training. At the traditional night banquet. Kevin was wearing a black suit and looking for Mei at the banquet. Various voices of discussion kept coming from his ears. Forget it, just let fate happen. The situation outside is getting worse day by day. This is already the third time. If this continues, sooner or later we won't be able to hide it. You still worry about this, is it useful? Is it your turn to worry? Look, wouldn't it be nice to be like them? Leave all these problems behind, just go celebrate and pretend nothing happened. I'm so tired. I don't want to come here at all. The fourth time is not far away. Hey, accept your fate. Listening to these voices, Kevin was also distracted for a moment. When he came to his senses, a pink-haired girl wearing a white maid outfit and holding a tray with sparkling water had bumped into him. Careful. The girl also woke up with a start. He apologized hastily, I'm sorry, I didn't look at the road well and bumped into you. Kevin also said quickly, No. It's my fault. Standing here, I blocked you. The girl showed gentle concern, the drink, didn't it spill on you? No. Look, I caught the cup. Kevin also raised the cup in his hand and drank the sparkling water in one gulp. Thank you for the sparkling water. I was feeling thirsty. The girl was surprised and said, Wow. Your reaction speed is too fast, you don't look like an ordinary soldier. I have also seen many soldiers with outstanding military exploits. Even compared with them, your physical fitness is superb. Are you a professional athlete or something like that? Kevin scratched his hair in embarrassment, not very good at dealing with such straightforward compliments. That's really an exaggeration. I've only played basketball for a few years. Not long ago, I was a student. By the way, did you see a girl with purple hair? She might be wearing glasses. I'm looking for her. Sorry, I just joined here not long ago. It's my first time to attend such an occasion, so I'm a little nervous. Don't worry about it. The girl tilted her head and thought, a girl with purple hair. I have indeed seen it before. I remember it was. She pointed in one direction. Kevin saw May in that direction and quickly thank you so much. By the way, after talking for so long, I haven't introduced myself yet. It's really rude. My name is Kevin, from the Fire Moth. Recruit Kevin, what about you? The girl showed a sweet and flawless smile. My name is Alicia, who symbolizes paradise. The memory images gradually fade away. Even if it was Kevin, he couldn't help but murmur, Alicia. The small and gentle sound echoed throughout the hall, gradually drifting into the corridor behind the throne. There was a hint of emotion in his cold and empty eyes, with sadness, expectation, and fear. Rice wife. Narukami Taisha Shrine. Ye Shenza looked at this picture. While touching his hair, he muttered, pink hair, like a fairy, a fairy. Her eyes widened suddenly. There was an expression of disbelief, but then there was a bit of joy. Lin Hao. Is this my previous life? Chapter 25. No. Only on this point, Lin Hao is very sure. Ye Kamiko didn't believe it at all. You have pink hair, right? It looks like a fairy, right? Do I fit these two perfectly? Who else could I be? Lin Hao glanced at her and said calmly, these 2 points are indeed consistent, but her heart is not as dark as yours. Ye Shenzi is angry. What does this mean? What does it mean to be less dark than her? Does she have a dark heart? Still very sinister? Lin Hao did not pay attention to her emotions, but reminded, don't pay too much attention to her, otherwise, you will regret it. You said that, but I still want to pay attention. I want to see if there is anything I can regret. She doesn't believe in evil. She has never regretted it since she became the chief minister of Narukami Taisha Shrine. There will never be anything that would make her regret it. Moreover, paying attention to a beautiful woman will make her regret it. How is this possible? She suddenly thought of a possibility. Is she particularly important to you? Will it reveal your true nature as a scumbag? Then I need to pay more attention. At the same time, he shouted to the sky, exposure system, please expose Kevin and Alicia to me more. Lin Hao. I don't know if the system heard her plea. But the current scene is still in that dim hall. I don't know how much time has passed. Sudden. A communication came. It's from May. She reported to Kevin what happened on the Coral Island. From the time she arrived at the Coral Island, to seeing Anna transform into the Hairsker of Ice, and Chen Tianwu and the team becoming the Hairsker of Rock, to Chen Tianwu giving Anna the power to become the Hairsker of Falling Ice, in the end she completely captured the Hairsker core of man. After hearing the report, Kevin just said, you did a good job, come back. His tone remained the same. This made Mei Yi dissatisfied and full of doubts, tell me, I will use the power of the hairskirt to seize and suppress the core. Is this also what you expected? Kevin replied, that's the answer you come up with on your own. Mei Yi asked back, have you not considered the consequences of my failure? You'll make it. His tone was still cold and unquestionable. But this is not the answer Mei Yi wants, I want an explanation. Kevin was silent for a moment. Still chose to explain to her, during this collapse, 2 hairskers were born, and they eventually merged into one. One hairsker devoured the core of the other and grew into a more powerful individual. And what you did was just the same thing, conquering the power of the hairsker. He hasn't finished speaking yet. Communication was completely cut off. Only the sound of Zilla. Zilla was left. This was not an accident on Mei Yi's part. But, there is a problem here. Sudden. The sizzling sound disappeared. Kevin's extremely familiar voice appeared, hey, can you hear me? This thing should have a radio function, right? Hello? Hello? 123 123 forget it, listen, I have already taken care of my destiny. Now it's your turn. Kevin. Come out to me. This was exactly Hwa's voice, as her voice fell. The entire underground base trembled slightly. The sound of fighting came from above. There was no doubt that the jackals in the base were fighting each other. Kevin left the throne and walked upstairs. Upper level of the base. Hwa was wreaking havoc while still saying to himself, I haven't forgotten, but he won't come out. There was such a big commotion, and Kevin didn't react at all. I could detect his consciousness. It was sharp and heavy. It must be him. But his mood didn't fluctuate at all. He probably doesn't even know I'm here. He. Of course, if we make a bigger fuss, for example, take off the wolf's head. Jackal monitors the entire scene. Looking at Hwa is like talking to oneself with someone who doesn't exist. It sounded like she was going to pluck her head off. He suddenly became even more angry, this guy. Don't think about hiding anything. Take out all the wealth you prepared to capture hairsker, everything. Today must be. When she was overcome with rage. Kevin's voice appeared, no need to waste time. Jackal turned around and found that the Lord had appeared behind her at some point. Honored, respected Lord. I am coming. This sentence was not meant for Jackal, but to inform Hwa who was making a fuss. Really? Hear this sound? Hwa also stopped what he was doing. Take the initiative to come outside the base and find Kevin who is already waiting here. Where did you find your men? It's very interesting. She's useful, and I don't mean in a combat sense, Kevin said. The two of them walked away from the base as they spoke. Hwa showed a helpless look, it's the same old thing again. In order to fight against Honkai, we have to use whatever we can, right? Kevin stopped. Hwa still walked forward unconsciously. Who are you? I'm Hwa, your old friend. Hwa turned around and blurted out. Kevin looked at her, Hwa never calls me friend. Oh. Hwa scratched his head in front of him and organized his words, to be honest, I died once before and was shot in the head by Otto. Now that I have just woken up, I still don't understand many things. I remember you. We fought side by side 50,000 years ago. So I think, we should be friends. The system is trying to make people in Teyvat continent understand this. Very considerately, the scene of the shot being fired was played next to the screen. In the scene, Kevin pointed the gun at Fu Hwa, immortal red kite, I didn't lie. Then pull the trigger. Kevin's eyes were always fixed on her, you and Hwa feel different. Hwa nodded in agreement, yes, I think so too. When I look through my past memories, I always think like this, what's going on? How did it happen like this? Well, maybe rebirth has made me see a lot of things clearly. Think of it this way, Kevin, I'm a better Hwa than I was before. Kevin. He would never allow anyone to blaspheme his former partner. Moreover, based on his observation just now, he has already discovered the truth of the matter and the true face of Hwa in front of him. To show his attitude, he silently pulled out the Skyfire sword. Friend or foe, choose. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.